welcome back to another episode of Xbox Infinite. It's been a bit of a crazy week, a little bit of a negative week for Xbox, but we're going to try not to be super negative on the show. But before we get into the topics this week, let me do some introductions. Our special guest this week, Ashtray Gaming of, I believe is it XIP?
Gamers Initiative podcast, yeah, GIP.
GIP, or the GOP podcast. I probably should have sorted that out before we went live, eh? But welcome to the podcast, man. It's great to have you here. We've been talking about getting you in for quite some time behind the scenes, so it's great that we finally got you here, man. How you doing? What have you been up to? What have you been playing?
Yeah, no, thanks for that. Appreciate the invite. Yeah, I was on Gamers Initiative podcast this morning. So I had my first podcast this morning at 7 a.m. I had to get up and get a big coffee happening so I could wake up in time. Slap myself in the face a little bit. So we just finished that a couple of hours ago. And then needed to scoff down some breakfast before I jumped into this one. But thanks for having me. What have I been doing? What have I been up to? I've been playing a little bit of Xbox as usual. I've tinkered with Trek to Yomi, Halo Infinite multiplayer, which I sort of jump in and out of here and there. I get quite frustrated with that, which I'm sure you all know. And I've been playing Fortnite with Panda, Wolf, and Boba Fett. So I see Boba in the chat. Hey, and that's me.
Boy, Boba.
Oh, awesome, man. It's absolutely awesome to have you here on the show. And we've got a bit of an announcement this week. Unfortunately, we have lost a panel member due to work commitments and other stuff that he's got going on. Jack Astronaut is no longer able to be on the show. But like I said in the announcement on Twitter, as one door closes, another door opens. We have a new panel member. So if you could all join me in welcoming Doom Cutie to the show as our new panel member. How you doing? What have you been up to? What have you been playing, Doom? Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. You have no idea how thrilled I am. So thank you so much. This week was actually my first week back at work from having the spicy cough. So yeah, I've been super busy at work, and to be honest with you, I haven't had much time for any gaming, which is sad. But lots going on, lots to read, lots to think about. I have been thinking about gaming quite a lot, so there is that.
Awesome.
Risk it. Boba said something about your mic level, mate. I'm not sure what it is.
I might have been a little bit too far away from the mic, right? I do that occasionally as I sort of run around my room in circles trying to sort shit out for the show behind the scenes. But anyway, sorry guys, I'll get close to the mic. Give it a little kiss. Welcome back to the show, JediKnightPete, our permanent panel member. Always holding down the show. Always got some great takes, mate. It's always great to have you back. How was your week? What have you been up to? What have you been playing?
Good, mate. Yeah, I jumped on KY's podcast yesterday. He needed a panel member because he had an unfortunate accident with Power Man. So that was great fun. On Game Set Live, check it out on replay if you want. Me and Risket were on it, and yeah, I've been playing Trek to Yomi, loving that game. I was recommended it by Hargeet and I think Zorka, and yeah, really enjoying it. And as usual, I'm playing Halo. What else is new, eh?
Yeah, I feel you. I'm playing Halo as well. Yeah, that was, Kid Smooth, of course you're still invited, mate. Welcome to the chat. It's always great to have you here, bro. Yeah, look, that was a great podcast, but I recommend everyone go and watch it, but don't judge me because I'd literally drag my ass out of bed, drop my kid off at childcare, and then jump straight to the podcast on camera, so I wasn't looking too sexy. Umbra, how you doing? Speaking of sexy voices, how are you, man? Welcome back to the show. How you been? How's those octaves going? You dropping a couple lately? I don't know why.
Oh, yeah. Dropped a few, I don't know why either. It just happens. I don't know why. It's like when I get in the presence of ladies, for some reason, it's like it just gets deeper and deeper. I don't know what it is. I just want to take the time, however, to wish Doom Cutie, a very warm welcome into the show, and we're very happy to have you. So I just want to say that to begin with.
It's always a pleasure.
Yes, the pleasure's all mine. What up, everybody in the chat? I want to say, too, as far as what I've been playing, I also have been playing Trek to Yomi. I love it. I thought it was, if I had to give it a rating, probably an 8 out of 10. Maybe that's a little generous, but maybe.
Yeah, I gave it a 7.5. Yeah.
Yeah, something around
pretty
that
close,
area. It's pretty fun. I've beaten it twice now. I got to get the rest of the achievements, but it's really fun. If you all haven't tried it, give it a chance. And I'm ready to chop it up with you guys with the unfortunate news we got the other day.
Yeah, it wasn't great news. Trek to Yumi, though. I've been playing that as well, man. I'd probably give it a 7 as well, but I'd be really interested to see what those developers, I think it's Devolver Digital, isn't it? No, is it? No, they published it. It's pretty much a single developer and just a few guys that developed that, right? And I'd be interested to see what they could do with a heavy budget. Excuse my printer having a spack attack in the background there. Anyway, we'll move into the topics of the week, which is obviously, as Umbra mentioned, a little bit sad. If you guys don't know, which I'm sure all of you do, but if you don't, Bethesda came out and announced that Starfield and Redfall would be delayed to the first half of 2023. They didn't even say the first quarter. So that's the first horrific point that we're going to kind of deal with. Look, for my part,
Here we go.
For my part, look, I'm not a massive Bethesda fan. I was looking forward to Redfall and obviously Starfield because it's free in Game Pass, so I get to try it and maybe I get hooked, and that would be exciting. But the timing of the announcement is really odd. Now, we had a bit of a conversation about this the other day. It's some of the poorest timing you could possibly imagine. Obviously, you can't do it in-show on the showcase. You probably don't want to do it after the show unless it's some time after the show, and they didn't have that time with Redfall. But you definitely don't want to announce a showcase, get everyone hyped, and then just suck the excitement out of the room by announcing that you've got 2 delays. That was crazy. I mean, I could think of at least 3 different ways that you could spin this to make it land a little bit better. It's never going to land great, right? You could have announced Redfall wasn't coming, not talked about Starfield, did a Starfield showcase, got everyone hyped for Starfield a little bit, gave it a couple of months, and then announced the delay. I just thought it was really odd. And then we had a bit of a conversation, me and Ashtray, on Twitter, and we'll get into that a little bit later on. But shit rolls uphill. But Ashtray,
yes,
yeah, what's your general thoughts?
Well, it is disappointing, but it's better off being known as a delayed game as opposed to a buggy mess. We always refer back to games like Cyberpunk that was broken as hell, and even Anthem that had no content. And they live with that stigma till this day, and they always will, and they'll be known as those types of games. So a delay, as frustrating as it is, as much as I was looking forward to Starfield myself, look, it's better to delay a game. If they need the time to clean it up, maybe they found a big bug that they didn't see at some point before, and they've got to fix it. I don't know. It could be staffing issues. It's really hard to say. I would like to know a bit more detail on it. I sort of mentioned in the podcast this morning that maybe even shareholders might want to know what's going on, because I mean, at the end of the day, this kind of stuff will fluctuate shares and things like that. So maybe they're asking questions as well, and potentially we'll get some more information out of it soon. But it's everyone's upset. I've seen some wild takes. I've seen some people happy that it's delayed, some people that are frustrated and upset. And then obviously there's a lot of other people on Twitter just bagging it. So you get all sorts. It's always a mixed pot on Twitter. But look, again, I think a delay is good. It's frustrating, but it's a good thing. Let's just release a game that works, that's top notch, polished as hell, and yeah, we don't want any game breaking bugs. That would put it through the mincer bad, and it will just be a laughing stock, and that's the last thing we need right now.
Yeah, well, look, I on the whole agree with that. That's an absolute. I mean, it's super disappointing. I mean, from a console warring point of view, that's why I'd say why a lot of people are disappointed, and that's a little bit stupid, really. Personally, I'm of the mind that delays are good. You know, they're not good because you don't get to play the game, but they are good because hopefully it works and you get, like you said, a polished, finished, amazing game at the end of it, like Halo.
Yeah.
Very funny.
That's what Halo has running for it, though. It works, right? It's pretty much bug free. It's just got no content.
No content, and a slight decent issue. But anyway, moving on. Doom Cutie, you obviously caught this news through the week.
I did.
Before I go to your take, I will say, because I didn't say, and I should say, and I'm terrible at saying, if you're new to the channel, guys, please hit that subscribe button. If you are here and you're in the chat, you guys are always turning up. Palpatine, Your Danny Quesda, Mr. Joe Dark, Palpatine, Dauntless, welcome. Your Danny Quesda, all you guys that turn up every week, we really appreciate you guys. If you are new, though, hit that, Toolman55, couldn't forget you, Hugging Channy. Hit that like button, share it out, let people know what we're up to.
Timmy, Grey Monad.
Absolutely. Yes, I have definitely got a shout out down in the ticker there for our wonderful moderators. You guys are amazing. Doom Cutie, it sucks, right? But what do you think?
Look, I've been seeing a lot of negativity around this topic, and you know what? I really feel for the developers. I know people are going to be like, meh, fuck the developers or whatever, but that's these people. They work so hard. This is a labor of love, and as someone who can understand that, I wouldn't want to put something out there that isn't 100% what I want or what I've worked so hard for. And you know, just like Astro said, you know, there could have been some major things that they encountered, and potentially that has influenced their decision. And you know what? If it takes time for this game to come out, I would rather it come out and have all those issues fixed than to be released buggy and terrible. So that's my take on it. And I'm honestly, I'm sick. I'm sick of the hate. Like there's no benefit to putting it out there. We can't do anything about it. So why get so upset about something we can't control?
That's true. That's absolutely true. I mean, I do recommend that everyone go outside and burn their Xbox in the street.
Oh.
Grab your PlayStation.
You know, I think there was talk of this sacrificial Xbox burning, which was I threatened to quit already. Not even having my first time here, so not happening. I love my Xbox.
We're changing the name of.
Sorry, Risket. Your mic level keeps fading, mate. It's come up a couple of times. Huggeats pointed it out, Monad's pointed it out, and Boba's pointed it out. I think it's just you, mate. So it's fading out at the end, brother.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
so I must have cut out.
I reckon there's a way to fix that, man. Go into your Discord, and you'll have to go to your sound settings and turn off the noise gate.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah.
I had the same problem a while ago, and dealer told me to turn that off. So voice and video, scroll down to the bottom and turn off echo cancellation and noise reduction, and that should fix your problem.
Don't you love the professionalism of our show?
Love it. Oh, yes, I did have the noise
last
gate on.
podcasts
Absolutely.
I've done for the Gamers Initiative, we had like half an hour of no fucking sound because we just couldn't figure shit out. It was bad. It was bad. But hey,
that was our first show. That was our first show. Umbra was here for that.
Yeah,
it was
absolutely.
Amazing. It was like a non-starter, and we had to restart again. But hey, we got it all sorted now. Thank you for that. You're absolutely right. It was the noise gate in Discord. I don't know why I had that turned on. That's cray.
Love Gamers Initiative podcast, by the way. Elite Gaming Guru, Astray Gaming, and Red Dead Panda. Amazing show. It's on a little bit early for me to catch live, but I always catch it on replay, mate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Appreciate that, guys.
It is awesome. And I just wanted to add that Red Dead Panda is not a real gamer. Anyway, moving on to Jedi Knight Peter. What did you think of this delay? I actually haven't got either any of your guys' takes. I haven't seen you guys through the week, which is abnormal. This happened after our general topics talk, so we haven't even had a chance to really spin this around. So I'm interested, really interested this time. I mean, I'm always interested, but I'm really interested this time to hear what you guys are going to say. Pete, what do you think of this?
Look, you only get one chance for that first initial impression of your game, and that initial impression goes a very long way. Cyberpunk, yes, is a good game, but I don't think it ever really recovered from that initial impression. And so I am all for a game delay. Everything we've heard about Starfield, the size, the scope of this game, it's being created on an updated engine that they've never used before. They're using procedural generation for the very first time. All these things take time, they take effort, and all the way through a pandemic. Yes, I know it's not an excuse, but look, if they need more time give them more time, get them to deliver a product that they can be proud of and that we can enjoy when it's done. I was hesitant when they initially planted their flag so far out, 18 months out, and put that date. I think Todd Howard said it's in pen, it's not in pencil. I thought that was very brave, but honestly, I think that it could only, there was no need for it. It created an optic that it was definitely going to come out, and that just led to this failure. You know, they have to take an L for this, and the hate and the in the community, especially in the Twitter community, which I tried to stay away from. I don't think Twitter's real life. I think people understand that things come up in game development, but it's not a good look. I love that Phil Spencer came out straight away. I think about 6 hours after they announced it, and made and spoke to the community at large. Xbox are absolutely amazing at doing that. But look, it's not a good optic. At the end of the day, I'm still looking forward to Starfield. I think that the game's going to be better for it, but yeah, it's not a good look.
I'm literally just sitting here like nodding and nodding and nodding. I'm just like, yes, Jedi. You are right. I'm so on board with this.
There's definitely, you brought up
mate.
a couple of points that I don't want to, I'm not going to fully go into just until we've spoken to Umbra and got Umbra's take, but you did raise something. And I am working on the sound in the background, guys. Yep, there is an issue with my thing. And basically, if I'm not screaming into my mic, it's not working. So I'll be yelling at you a lot for a little bit. Umbra, let's get your take. What did you think about this whole debacle?
I'll just be honest with you, flat out. It ruined my day the other day. Flat out.
Oh.
Like, literally took all the energy I had. I was just sitting there like,
Cheer
what
up,
now?
Charlie. I got singing in before you this week, mate.
It really just drained me, though, like, being honest, because it was like, and people were like, some people would try to argue, because you got a lot of more, fealty prone fanboys who like, well, shit, you're depressed now because of 2 games. No, it's not just 2 games. It's an ongoing thing with Xbox. It's an ongoing weight. It's an ongoing, it's always something, and it's like it continuously makes you feel like they can't manage things right. So somebody then pointed out, well, they're not managing it though. That's Bethesda doing it, which is irrelevant because they're now an umbrella under Xbox, and then you have those other issues with Xbox. It just makes the optics of it look horrible. So it's like a continued thing. So absolutely, it drained me. And the crazier part, an unfortunate part of it, because it's like you pointed out, it comes down to the fanboy thing, the fanboy console warring. So I had a ton of ponies hitting me up, like, we told you, you bot. And that was the worst part of it. Like, I had to eat crow for ponies. I'm like, oh God, you all just set me up for the fail. And
That's
all
right.
of them.
You'll get yours back when God of War.
That's what I'm waiting for. That's what I'm waiting for, Ashtray. I'm waiting for that.
Hey, mate. That'll be a good day.
By the way, we had that revealed on our show when we had Rose on here. She said that, somebody she has an inside contact with in Santa Monica, Sony Santa Monica, told her it would possibly be delayed until next year. We don't know if that's true. It's just speculation, but it would be hilarious if it does happen, I will say. But my thing is, I'm not doom saying anything. I'm still Team Xbox, obviously. I'm not burning my Xbox like Risk It deemed us all to do in a cult unit burning ritual he wanted us to do before we changed our name. But I'm just disappointed by it, especially because it was so hardwired into the reveal trailer and everything else, and everything messaging wise pointed it out to being, released this year. So when you take into account of that, and then you look and see what we have gotten and won't get, at least as far as we know until the showcase, what do we have to be happy for outside of the typical stuff that we get in Game Pass and the third-party games that will come to Game Pass? I know we get Deathloop, yay, but what about all these other things? Now we are left in a state of confusion. We're left in a state of, of worry and as far as not knowing what to expect. And that's the problem for me, because those 2 games are now off the table. And until the showcase, we won't see what they might have in store for us. And they're going to have to make some moves. We all know that. I'm thinking third-party grabs or something like that and
Yes.
major third-party grabs.
It's a
So
very good point that you bring up there. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. So that's the biggest thing for me. And but I'm like I said, I know they'll right the ship, and they know now because they had such a negative reaction, they're going to have to do that. So that's the one like big positive for me. I feel though like I asked this earlier because I had a space. I called it Coffee and Copium. What would you guys say would be the better approach? Because I didn't like the way they approached announcing it either.
Yes.
That little
That's my
blurb
main
on Twitter.
issue. That's my main
see,
issue with the
yeah.
whole thing. I've got to
I
say, hang on,
disagree
2
with
seconds,
you.
Pete, before I go to you. I'll just say, Kent B in the chat there said Xbox is going to have no first party games for a whole year, 365 days. Where are the games from 30 plus studios Xbox has? I'm seriously thinking about trading my Xbox. I'm still messing with the sound in the background, so if it's popping, clipping, I'm sorry, I'm working on it. Kent, yeah, that's probably a valid point or a valid concern. But look, I don't think it's that dire, man. We're not.
Yeah, but I have a question for Kent. How many games has he got in his backlog?
Exactly. Yeah.
And
Exactly
if you're willing to trade, just do it, man. Go for it.
Yeah.
Sell it
Not
off,
even just-
whatever you need
not
to
even
do,
just
man,
that.
because there's nothing coming out for PlayStation anyway. So
Not even
you're in
just
the
that,
same boat.
Can also think about it. You didn't buy the Xbox just to get something in the first year and that's it. You're buying it for the long term. Same with the PS5. So
Yeah.
right now
exactly.
it's a crappy situation, but in the future it's going to be, it's going to be banging on the Xbox side of things. So
Yeah.
that's why I said I'm not down all the way. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah,
And if you
absolutely.
look at 2023, mate. Sorry, Risky.
No, you're right. No, you're right. You go.
I was going to say, if you look at 2023, Kent, like there's so much to look forward to, mate. I mean, we know what the roadmap is for Xbox. If you really do feel that way, I mean, look, that's fine. No one's gonna, have a go at you for, that's how you feel. But wait till the showcase, mate. Wait till they show what's coming.
Yeah.
We don't know if they're holding anything back, mate. There really could be something there that will, spur your interest in Xbox again. So I would definitely do that. I wouldn't make a rash decision just on a couple of delayed games. I also wanted to say that I saw one of the best names I've seen in a while, Mon Datrick. That is very cool.
He
Love
says
it, mate.
his response to Kent is sorry to hear that, Kent B. If you like to be offline and play old games, Xbox 360 is here for you. Brilliant.
Look, it's a valid option.
I love that. Yeah, there's a whole lot of new names in the chat this week, guys. If you're just joining us, we're talking about the Starfield Redfall Delayed. And please hit that like button, hit that subscribe, especially if you're new. Share it out, let your friends know. We will move on to what
I was going to say, Risket, that I disagree with your take on when they announced it. I think they announced it specifically now to get the bad news out of the way before the showcase comes in and they can start building momentum again. I don't see how else they could have done it, mate. Like, you just get it out of the way about a month before the showcase hits. Yes, they know they're going to cop it in the press. They know they're going to cop it within the community, but it just gets it out of the way. And so we can see, clearer skies ahead.
Yeah, but I mean,
Totally agree.
What you're saying that they couldn't have mentioned it, say, I don't know, before the showcase. Just before the show, before they announced the showcase.
Because then you start with a negative straight away. That would be absolutely worse to do it that way.
I think they
could do it another way.
To be all positive.
I think they could have done it another way, though. They could have showcased the game for 15 and 20 minutes, showcased the engine, show how great it looked, showcase the fighting mechanics, the gunplay, whatever it is. And then after it looked so good and they gave us all this promise, then said, unfortunately, to make sure we get the game's quality up to the standards we wanted to get it to, the game will be delayed until, and then give us the date, Q1 2023.
Same argument.
I think that would be better than saying, but just comparison wise, like compare that to, oh, we're not going to give you a video, even though we all just met up a day before and all took smiley pictures, like, haha, it's all good. And then, the game was canceled or delayed until next year, y'all. And a little note.
Yeah.
I totally disagree.
You guys, in the
it's
chat,
exactly the same argument.
he said Risky is a slow Band-Aid remover.
Where's this? Who's that? What?
Pico trick. Yeah, Pico trick.
Love it. You know what? It's like there's layers to this. There's layers to dealing with this. They announced the showcase. Then, there's some delays with some of the games. All right, okay. Then there's the showcase. And I really agree with Jedi here. I'm like, there's going to be something amazing in that showcase.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's you want to sandwich it. You want to put the good news, bad news, good news. So you end on good news,
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, look, same argument with Umbra. If you do that, Umbra, and you show it and the game looks great, and then if you end on a negative saying it's going to be delayed, that will be the lead story. That'll be the takeaway.
Yeah.
And you forget
Fair.
everything that came before.
Yeah.
I really think that wouldn't be the way
That's
to
fair.
go.
Yeah, that makes some
Palpatine
sense.
said he asked the question. I think they'll still show the game in the showcase, 100%.
Yeah,
Starfield
definitely.
will still be the main
No,
game.
he's asking should they show it in the showcase. I think they
Well, the
should
fact-
still show
Yeah.
Starfield. What do you guys think?
But no question.
100%
sure.
they should.
Yes.
They have to. I mean,
Yes, they
even the
have to.
billing for it still has Starfield, like the billing, like the sun coming out behind it. That's all Starfield. They have to show it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. The billing for last year was basically Redfall, and the billing for this year is Starfield.
Yep.
Both those games are delayed into next year. Look, I mean, game development is tough, especially in the environment we're in. But I do think we're still going to great show. By the way, we will be doing a live stream of the show. I'll be getting up at 4 a.m. Monday morning for that. Please join us. Put it in your calendar now, guys. We really would love to have your company.
Oh yeah. I'll
To add to that, by the way, we're trying to do a major giveaway for that stream. If you all are tuning in, we'll announce that later on before the show comes up.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be doing.
Right.
I'll be getting up at 2 a.m. for that one, and Doom as well because we're in the same state.
Can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be a very, very late one, but an exciting one. I always stay up for the showcase anyway, as it is. So, look, Ashtray, on timing wise, what do you think? Is the timing right? Did they nail the timing? What's your personal feelings on how they announced this delay?
Well, let's be honest. Is there really any good timing for this kind of
Yeah.
stuff? Not really.
No, you're right.
And that just boils down to it's always, if it's bad news, there's no good timing. But I sort of think I agree with Jedi on this one for sure that doing it now is probably that soft blow. It'll probably get shown still at the event and people will sort of know, but that won't be the takeaway from it. So I think it sort of just manages expectations as well because like Umbra said that if you show it on the showcase and then say it's delayed, people are going to be pissed. And I know I would be. It'd be like this massive build up and then say, sorry, not happening. And you'd just be so angry. Whereas at least now we know. And then we can go into the showcase understanding that. And we've dealt with we've had time to soak it in and think about it and deal with it. I know it sounds like it's like a death, but you know what I'm saying? Like it's still important to us because we're gamers and this is sort of the stuff that we're looking for, this content. But we're also forgetting that there are potentially other games that no one sort of remembers that could be coming out this year. I say could be because things are still up in the air, but I mean, we sort of know about Scorn, Arc 2, Replaced, Exomecha, there's still a few games out there that still could come and hit this year before the year's out, potentially. So I'm going to try and stay positive on this and just go, look, there's going to be something else in its place. And it won't fill the void, but it'll sort of help get us to that next point.
There have been a
Well
couple
said,
of
mate.
rumors. There have been a couple of rumors that they'll put Gotham Knights on Game Pass.
Yes,
Like,
I wanted to
that's
talk
not
about
enough.
that. I wanted to talk about that. Dub just asked us a question, and we'll get to that. That was literally what I was going to go to next. But Dub asked the question in the chat. I asked Gaz and Colt this, and I'm curious what you'll think. Do you folks think Xbox in general announces titles too early in an attempt to get fans to see that they got games in the works? Yeah. I do. I think they did. I think they had to at the beginning of the generation. I don't think it's too early. I think they definitely had to because, look, they had nothing, let's be honest. Xbox was still the box with no games at that point. So they needed to let everyone know what was coming. They were announcing shit that was coming in like 2025. So, like, talk about Fable and stuff like that, and Elder Scrolls 6. Like, so
Piss off, Timmy. I'm great at that game, mate.
Risk it.
Yeah.
Risk it. I skipped through last year's Xbox showcase, and we pretty much haven't seen anything yet from that.
That's true.
But
yeah,
I don't know. I'm in the boat where I don't mind knowing. I said it again on my podcast this morning. Is you can tell me who the murderer is in the storyline, and I'll still watch the movie. I don't care.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is, I'm happy to know the content and just know that it's going to be there. Whether it takes a year, 2 years, 4 years, whatever, I just like knowing that there's something coming. So I'm happy. I'm one of those people that like to know in advance.
Yeah, this generation was really different, wasn't it? I mean, the PS4 just absolutely dominated the Xbox One, and Xbox needed to show the roadmap to the future. Not only that, I don't remember if you guys remember the showcase where it was just day one Game Pass, day one Game Pass, day one Game Pass. That roadmap, as well as Game Pass really going off and really coming into its own as the best value in entertainment, really set the momentum and set the tone for this generation, and has been a lot of the reason why Xbox has basically been so good. I mean, the games, yes, I mean, it's basically been Forza and Halo still, a couple of other ones thrown in the mix like Psychonauts, but Psychonauts was on both platforms. Deathloop is an Xbox game, but it's only on PlayStation. I think that roadmap has really set the tone for this generation, and I think they had to do it coming off the last generation. So I don't mind it, but from now going forward, I would prefer to not know, too far in advance. That's how I feel.
Yeah, look, I saw a lot of people after the showcase, that banging showcase they had in 2021, people saying, I'll wait to get an Xbox. And you know what? In hindsight, maybe that was the right decision. If you prefer to play on PlayStation, but you like to have both consoles, it probably wasn't necessary to get an Xbox at that point. But yeah, look, I don't think it's too early. I think they needed to show things. Umbra, what do you think? Too early?
No, Risky. I think you hit it right on the head. At that point, because I think sometimes we lack the whole, hindsight situation sometimes. So I think we actually ignore why things happen the way they happen. At that time when Xbox showed that, they needed to show it because they had nothing. They had to show, hey, we have this in the works. They had to show us promise. And it worked for the most part, barring a few issues with how Halo was presented and things like that. It had to happen. So no, I think it absolutely needed to at that time. I would say going forward, I mean, clearly they decided to go around doing that, as we heard Phil speak on it and said that they want to stop showcasing games way too far out. So I think anything from 2 years out is more than fine. But like I will say, our brother Ashtray here, I am the type where I don't mind you showing me something 3 years out. If I know the promise is there, I'm still going to be excited for it 3 years later, as long as it comes out great. I do disagree on the whole story part, though, because if you tell me what's going to happen in the story, I'm going to be pissed.
No spoilers here.
I don't mind. I usually forget anyway.
There's a lot of new people in the chat. I know Palpatine and Dub asked the question, and everyone in the chat can do the same thing. We don't have super chat here, guys, yet, so if you do want to ask a question, just type a question in the chat and we will get to you. Thank you, everyone in the chat. You guys are awesome. I'm trying to read all of it.
We will secretly charge you all $1 per question. You will realize it when your phone bill comes back.
Look, let's get to that question that kind of Umbra touched on early on in the piece there. Do we think that Xbox needs to put something big into Game Pass? This is a question that's been getting thrown around the community quite a lot. I've heard it on a few podcasts and out in Twitter. Do we think that they need something like a Gotham Knights? Do we think they need something like huge, massive, to get out there and bringing those subscribers in? Because you can guarantee there's a few people unsubscribing it. 110% guarantee that. Guys, what do you think, Doom? Do you think that we need a big one?
Look, I personally think that putting some big players on Game Pass would definitely, I mean, I wouldn't complain. Not that I'm upset, but it might soothe the masses. So yeah, definitely, I feel like it's probably going to be Forza Motorsport 8 and Gotham Knights. That's my prediction. Yeah, just to calm the Xbox down, just it's okay. We're still here. We still love you.
They definitely need some. I believe they need something. I think Gotham Knights would be a great get, but just imagine the amount of money they'd have to splash on that. Jedi, do you think we need to get something massive like that?
I didn't, and then I was on Xbox International talking to Silent Cypher, and he was saying that Gotham, even before the delay was announced, he was saying that Gotham Knights was going to drop on Game Pass, and I was completely against it. I thought that there was no way they would do that. Not because Xbox wouldn't want it on Game Pass, but because Warner Brothers would want to see if it could stand on its own 2 feet. Basically by itself. And really, if you think about it, Gotham Knights isn't going up against much. So I think it could do quite well. I mean, you've got Saints Row coming out, I think a month before it, or maybe a couple of months before it. And then really, I mean, it's very thin in terms of games that are coming. So I think Gotham Knights will do quite well. And Xbox would have to drop an awful lot of money to get that game. The Batman IP, however the game showed, a lot of the hardcores that, maybe didn't like the look of it so much, I actually thought it looked quite good. But don't forget, the Batman IP will bring in a lot of casuals. There'll be a lot of people that haven't seen the gameplay review video or the deep dives that will just buy it just simply because it's in the Batman universe. And I don't know if Microsoft want to pay that amount of money. So I look, even after the delay, I can't see it happening.
What about Ubisoft?
Ubisoft Plus, I can see that coming. I can see Ubisoft Plus coming. I want to say this too. My thinking on that is Gotham Knights alone would not be enough. That's just my personal conjecture. I feel like that's not a good replacement for what we were going to get with Starfield. Redfall, sure, but I think they're going to need to put at least 2 games there, maybe even more, considering that we don't yet know if we're going to have a roadmap for anything else before November like we were going to have. So to me, Gotham Knights is not enough for that. And although the game looks okay, I'm not blown away by Gotham Knights either. I just want to say this because Keosanti has a really good conspiracy theory, and he had this on Boom Show. I saw you on there that day, brother, talking about it. He says the fact that Bethesda, the company known for good marketing, dropped this news like this tells me they have some bullets for the chamber at the showcase. What do you all feel about that? And I agree with that.
Yeah,
Well,
definitely.
we're still getting Deathloop from them. Deathloop got 10 out of 10 and it was Game of the Year at a lot of, gaming outlets last. So we are getting that, guys. We're also getting Warhammer 40k Darktide. These are all going to be going into Game Pass.
Jedi, we're talking about something else outside of those. Like we know about that's a known quantity.
Yeah, I know, mate. I know, but everyone's saying like that it's disastrous and Xbox has got nothing. There are games coming, guys. Scorn, yes, they're not first party, they're third party deals, but the difference between Xbox and PlayStation, I feel, is Game Pass. These games, you don't need to buy these games, guys. It comes with your subscription service. You get to try them out for free. And if one takes your fancy, then you can complete it. I mean, that's the big difference, if you ask me.
Umbra, do you think that Bethesda have a couple of games up their sleeve that no one knows about?
That's what I'm hoping for.
That's what you're trying to say, right?
That's what Keosanti is alluding to. Those known quantities, those are nice, but those are not pushing anyone to go, let me go get Game Pass. They're just not. Let's just be real. I hear you, Jedi, but nobody's like, I'm about to sign up to Game Pass for Warhammer 40K. They're just not doing that. So, in most cases at least, I think specifically Keosanti is saying they're going to have some major releases, or major announcements that they're going to showcase that are really going to get us excited. And that's why they were saying so confident.
And that's why I told Ken to wait till the showcase. Yeah, definitely. I mean, what if you look at their teams, what are we waiting on? We're waiting on id. I mean, we're waiting on Machine Games. Machine Games is ready to drop something, whether that be Wolfenstein, 3 or Indiana
Indiana
Jones. We're waiting
right.
on
Yeah.
it, like after what they did after the 2 DLCs for Doom Eternal. Are they going to make a new Doom, or are they going to move on, transition over to Quake? Usually these guys are working on 2 different things. We're getting Deathloop. Yes, we know that they made that. Ghostwire Tokyo, when that we know that's coming in March. What other teams does Bethesda have in the background? What about the guys that are working on the Elder Scrolls Online? Heavily rumored that they're working on a Star Wars online game. That would be amazing. But
Yeah, Tango. You got Tango.
You
You got
guys.
Tango GameWorks too. Also, I mean, with Bethesda, so that's another one. But yeah, so what would you say, Ashtray and Cutie? What's you guys' thoughts on that?
I don't know. I kind of think that if they had something up their sleeve, we probably would have heard leaks or something about that by now. I could be wrong, of course, but
I suppose, but we didn't hear any leaks about them delaying it though, so I don't know.
Well, I think
it's a good
only
point.
because I think that decision was made right before they tweeted.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There was that meeting that they all had all together, Astray, and I'm pretty sure it was decided then, mate.
Whereas games take years to make, so something would have slipped by now. It says my gut feeling, but this was a pretty quick decision, so it was a quick turnaround.
And the leaks have been coming in full force. We know about Project Dragon. We know about Project Belfry. We know about Contraband. We have got a lot of leaks. But in saying that, Bethesda are pretty good at keeping things under wraps. Like, there was no leaks about Fallout 76 until that came out. Like, they're actually really good at it. They so I hope so, Kaya Sante. I really do. And like I said, I think that we're going to get some really good surprises in the showcase. Whether they drop in 2022, I don't think so, mate. I don't
Cutie,
think so.
Cutie,
But-
what do you
but-
think? Do you think, Cutie, that
Yeah.
there's a game in the background there somewhere that they've been hiding and that they might be bringing out at the showcase, or at least showing?
Look, I'm hopeful. I really am, and I'm ready. I'm ready for anything that they want to show us. And there's so many things that we don't know, and not everything leaks. We heard it here from these guys as well. So it's I'm feeling positive. Even though I'm sad a little bit, I'm still positive that we're going to see some really good games come out of the showcase.
Well, Hargate's got a good question there, and it didn't highlight it for me. I did highlight it for me, actually. Sorry, Hargate. The big question is COD. Will they be able to drop Modern Warfare 2 into Game Pass? If they can, boom. Look, well, think about it this way, Hargate. That's a very good question. You think about it this way. If they pay for Modern Warfare 2 to drop into Game Pass, because they would have to, I assume, Hargate, correct me if I'm wrong, you're kind of the master of how this sort of stuff behind the scenes works with business, but if they pay, say, Activision to drop Modern Warfare 2 into Game Pass, and that deal goes through, that's their money, right? They're paying themselves in the end. So I can actually see that. What do you think, Ashtray? You think they could get Modern Warfare 2 into Game Pass?
Oh, well, it's only money, right? They can pay for it, no problem.
Yeah, they got $1 billion just sitting there, mate. So yeah.
Look, and that's the beauty of Xbox. If they really need something, if Bethesda and their subsidiaries don't have anything hiding in the background, and they need something, they can do it if they really want to. Is it still going to be a system seller? I don't know. It depends.
Oh, Modern Warfare.
Modern Warfare will be. Yeah, if it was any other Call of Duty franchise, I think that they're waning. They're still system sellers, don't get me wrong, but the Modern Warfare IP is huge, and it's their best. So, and Modern Warfare 1 was a home run. I mean, it was back to Call of Duty at its absolute best. So definitely make a huge impact. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think that the deal, the Activision Xbox deal, can go through before the end of the year, and all this can be nullified? Because how much input into Game Pass would that have? Pretty much every old Call of Duty game, Modern Warfare coming into Game Pass day and date. This would offset basically, all the negativity.
Yeah,
Really
I think
depends on
yeah.
how much red tape there is.
Mhm.
Where I go.
Like I think they could push it through. Like Astray's saying, there's a lot of red tape there, but where there's a will, there's a way.
Oh, let's ask Hargate that, because Hargate, do you think they can push that through before the end of fiscal year 2023? I don't see it happening. Umbra, do you reckon that they could lean on that deal hard and get it going through, especially with the FTC looking at it?
I think they could do it. I don't think that has anything to do with the FTC on that specific thing. It's like you said, they can pay for that exclusivity in a way, and it's going to come back to them anyway. The money made and earned from it, barring, well, maybe not immediately, but eventually would. And I agree, it would be a big get because of that. To me, still, it wouldn't replace Starfield, but I'm in a minority there. Comparatively, obviously, Call of Duty would be a big draw if it was put into Game Pass day and date. So absolutely, that should be something they should try to go for, in my opinion.
Yeah, for
And
the
I think they can do it.
hardcores, I think Starfield's bigger. I think for the casuals, Call of Duty's bigger.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
agree with that. That's a
But
pretty fair statement.
By the way, Kay Asante in the chat says, not sure they're even allowed to do that because they can't promise there's no favor being paid to the company that's going on, that is going to own them.
Yeah, well, look, absolutely, Kay Asante, I
but
agree with
money
that.
talks,
I
mate.
understand what you're saying, Kay, but that doesn't mean they can't still make the deal and pay what they would have paid. But when you look at it, I don't think it can't look like a favor, so they've got to pay the right amount, right? But
Yeah, and I think Sony does have marketing rights to Call of Duty, so it could
that's true.
impact negatively on those. I didn't think about that.
That is true. That's a very, very good point. Look, this is a bit of the negative news, and we've got some more negative news for you. I want to move on from the topic to the next. Does anyone have anything else they want to say about Starfield being delayed, other than it sucks and you should all burn your Xboxes? And
Ashtray said something in the
I do
chat
not
a while ago.
No.
But
So-
go ahead, Cutie. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying that I was getting to shut up.
I know that Ashtray made a interesting point. He's brought up about David Jaffe talking about field and the management of Xbox and such like that. He said he needed to get therapy. Did anybody else hear about that?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Yes, actually, I did want to talk about this. I'm glad you brought that up because I sort of forgot about that. Look, at me and Ashtray were talking about this earlier in the chat, and Phil came out and apologized to the community and basically said we need to do better. I could hunt down the tweet, but I won't. But it was the standard, generic, usual. Hey, we know we're not meeting expectations, and we need to do better. We will do better. Blah blah blah. Right now, I would have been happy if Phil didn't say anything. Just didn't say anything. Just left it to Todd. Left it to Bethesda. And kept it. But I mean, coming out and how many times has that tweet been tweeted in different ways? Hey, we need to do better. We know it. Like,
we hear you.
Yeah, we hear you. We're doing our best. I'm sick of hearing that from Phil. To be honest, it's Phyllis Maximus Aurelius.
Will be
Spencer,
the last
isn't it?
year, but risk it, mate. And I would prefer that than to be absolute dead silence and speculation, just
You had to
taking
say something.
control of the.
Yeah, well, look, Pete, you've cut out there. Yeah, look, I guess he had to say something, Doom, you're right. But I mean, look, I'm sick of hearing it. Like, I don't want to hear it anymore. I want to hear, like,
Well, don't read it, mate.
This is what's coming.
Unfollow him.
This is
Don't,
what's
if you don't want
coming.
to hear it, don't read it.
Well, of course I'm going to read it. I'm on Twitter. People are going to send it to me. I've got 100 console warriors coming at me on the daily. Someone's going to send that to me. Ashtray.
Doom Cutie basically said, out of sight, out of mind.
Ashtray, what's your take on this, mate? Because we had a bit of a conversation on Twitter, and you were saying, like, well, then you got to... I said shit rolls uphill in gaming, and that's true. And you're saying, well, Satya is probably responsible. You know what? I agree with that. Satya needs to step in and go, what's going on, guys? Like, Phil, what's going on? Matt Booty, what's going on? Todd, what's going on? We just paid you $3.2 billion. Get your shit together, right?
Yeah, look, my take originally is that Jaffe was wrong to blame Phil. I'm saying that it's Todd, right? And so Todd probably should have come out with that tweet. Todd Howard is in charge of Bethesda. He's in charge of Starfield. Xbox have acquired them. It's under Phil Spencer. I get all that. I understand that 100%. However, most of this was done, like, X acquired them right at the very end of production of the game. So I still don't think that there's any blame on Phil. It's all got to be on Todd's shoulders. Plus, he's in charge of that. That's his job.
Mm-hmm. Well,
now, if people are going to blame Phil, And that's why I said, well, okay, if you're going to blame Phil, let's blame Satya because he's running the whole show.
What about
Yeah,
Sarah
when-
Bond?
yeah.
Sarah Bond can't get out of this. And look, I honestly think that Bonnie Ross has got something to do with this. Anytime something fucks up within like Bonnie Ross, she's got something to do with this. I know it.
What about Matt Booty? That's the bigger one for me. What about Matt Booty? Because that seems to fall under his purview. Not specifically this, though. But
He's
just
got
other
too much on his plate, if you ask
He's
me,
got-
Umbra. Yeah, he's got
Yeah.
too many studios he's dealing with now. Yeah. I don't think it's his fault. I think he puts together more things. I do think it falls under Todd Howell's banner. But yeah, I mean, what do you think about Matt Booty's job? Do you think that he has got too much on his plate?
Definitely has too much on his plate, in my honest opinion. And to
Agreed.
me, it does fall into that kind of that Bunny Ross situation. Although I don't think he's been inept in it necessarily. I just think it's just too much for him. Bunny, I think, just flat out needs to go. But yeah, but him, I just think it's too much. Get some more people under, to help him out with that. I think, and that's going to be something Field is going to have to himself say, hey, we're going to have to give you some help, because that, to me, it just seems like, I don't know, mismanagement here and there.
But that's
But it's just conjecture. We don't know.
That's Matt Booty's job, right? And listen, this is I'm probably going to get absolutely railed and raked across the coals for this, but it can't be that hard being the head of development for Microsoft Game Studios. Hear me out before you attack. Hear me out. You've got like basically infinite funds, and all you got to do is go around and go, what's going on, guys? What are the problems? What do we need to do for you guys? Can we throw some money at it? Like, what can we do to help? Like, I
Risk it.
I
How
don't-
hard is it to put a panel of 4 people, 5 people together? It can be a nightmare, right?
Yeah.
sometimes.
Syncing up times and getting people on board and all that kind of stuff. It's about communication. So I agree with you on that side of it. But just to get 4 or 5 people in a podcast can be nightmare. Now think about having to work with and whatever the word is, to deal with hundreds, if not thousands of people, and trying to get it all synchronized and getting each graphics department working and communicating correctly with, the mechanics department and blah, 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 blah. It'd be pretty damn hard, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Look, I understand
said.
that.
And also, if you're bringing in other teams to help you're going to need to train them up on that specific engine if they're not familiar with that engine. So yes, money talks, and yes, you can throw money at different problems, but at the end of the day, you need a cohesive team to be working together for game development or any creative industry. So money isn't going to solve all issues. But
I can tell you this. 110%. If I had infinite money, I would not have any problems getting any amount of people on this podcast.
risk it
Took
for
the words right out of my head.
risk it for president. Here we go. He's gonna run the world.
Oh, well, give me
more
Microsoft
efficiently
for
than
like
anyone.
a day. I'll just be in there like,
Not
what
even
were
that much.
they were talking about Gaz the other day. I'd be in there like throwing coffees at people. Like,
Right.
we'd be crunching. You're not leaving this goddamn studio until this game is out.
You risk it. If you had all that money, you could get anyone on your panel, no problem. But it doesn't necessarily mean that one of those people can perform and do their job.
Money.
Well,
can't buy
we
time.
can get the high
Be
performing
cohesive
people
with
though.
everyone.
Ashtray, we can get the high performing members. We'll get Colt, we'll get Dealer, Rand, Jez, Paris. We'll be set.
Absolutely. Even Snowbike Mike. Shout out to Snowbike. Thanks for following me if you're listening. I really appreciate
He followed me first. Just want to make sure everybody knows.
Yeah, but I wasn't following him, I just out of the blue. Love you, Snowbike Mike. I am following you now. You're amazing. I always kind of found him the best one, a real one. Moving on to the next topic. Honestly, I'm going to stop saying this shit live. People are going to come after me, more than they do already. Moving on to the next negative topic. How exciting! DRM. Wow, digital rights management. This kind of blew up this week. Look, I'm going to say I did have a problem. I'm not going to sit here and cap and say that it is not an issue and that it is not bad and there's something seriously wrong. I'll also say that PlayStation, Nintendo, all consoles have a form of DRM. And they are just not, as from what I can understand, I did a little bit of research. I'm not an expert. But from what I read and what I could find, that basically Xbox's DRM has quite a long handshake with the server, and if you interrupt it, that becomes an issue. And then if it actually handshakes with its server a lot more than any other consoles. So look, I'm not going to say that it's just as bad as PlayStation. It's not. Xbox has the worst DRM. We all know that. And look, it needs to be fixed. There's no two ways about it. Like, they need to really put a team on this and have a look at it. And I guess from my point of view, I think that they haven't done enough to fix this issue, and it is a bit of a hangover from Don Matrick. But I don't think they've done anything about it, and the fault doesn't lie with Don Matrick on this. I think it lies with the teams that have been handling Xbox since 2014. So, I mean, what do you guys think? Umbra, do you think the DRM needs to be really looked at, and it's been too long that we've had these issues for?
Yeah, it's not even a question. It definitely has to be adjusted. You know, it's interesting though. I was listening to a few other podcasts on this because I don't know the full, like, detailed understanding of how everything works. But an interesting point was brought up by, I believe, by Mag, and he pointed out that if everything was working right, we wouldn't have complained at all. Nobody would have said anything. And I think he's right. If things were working, as Todd Howard say, it just works. If it was just working, we wouldn't have said shit. Let's to be clear. Sorry for profanity, but if it was working right, none of us would have an issue with how they're doing things DRM wise. But since it did, now we're left at that point of what do you do to fix this? And that's the issue. So I think now that we know that, and I was affected by the outage, by the way, off and on, it was very weird. But to be denied access to my gaming, and and then subsequently to argue with fanboys, overzealous fanboys who are telling me I'm doing it wrong, and this is why I can't access my games. It's just silly, because I do game sharing, and I let my nephew to use it on his Xbox as well, Series S. And since I game share, I have to have internet access at all times to play my all digital games. So and I'm all digital, so I'm in between a rock and a hard place. It has to work for me to do what I have to do.
Yeah, Umbra. Yeah. As more users are moving to digital only, especially with the Xbox Series S, and you're one of those people, you game, you need the access to that, and I really do think that Microsoft will need to look really, really closely at this in the future, because I predict that eventually a lot of consoles will not. The new ones will have no disk drives. So and we will be relying on these servers to access what we purchased, and I can understand how people are upset about it, especially if you were affected by it. I personally wasn't affected by it, but moving forward, I do think there'll be more transparency, and it'll be looked at more closely.
Yeah, Kayasanti says we'll be talking about this on his show tomorrow. Kayasanti has an awesome podcast. Get over there and check that out. I will link it in the description as soon as I can. He said it's a necessary evil, but there are ways to stop this from becoming a problem to consumers. They are not making change because we're not pushing them to do so. Yeah, and you're right. And I think that hopefully with this issue, maybe that's why they released the delay, right? Everyone just forgot about the DRMs. Hopefully with this issue, they'll start getting pushed. Another way. Yeah, it was probably a very clever thing to drop it the way that they have. But I mean, look, as well as when it comes to game preservation, you look at the PlayStation, the PSN store shut down. So those games are not accessible that were on the PSN store. And yes, you could say you've got backwards compatibility now with PS Plus that you have to pay for, and you don't have to pay for with Xbox, just saying. But they haven't got all games from that PSN store into their backwards compatible library. So some of those games are gone, and they are gone forever. And that's an issue, and game preservation is a big thing, and Xbox has spoken on game preservation many times, and said it's one of it's an important thing to them, and this DRM kind of shows that up. Like, well, if it's that important, like, what if something happens and you shut down the service tomorrow? All of our games are gone. Ashtray, are you? Is this a concern for you? The DRM, did it affect you?
My experience was pretty limited. I just had to click and open games 3 or 4 times before it would work, and that was just online games. Other than that, I was fine. There was no real issue. So again, at the time I was playing Fortnite, so I just had to load it up, close it down, load it up, close it down about 3 or 4 times, and then it was all good. I did notice though that it was sporadic, so it had happened to some people here and there, and it was sort of quite mixed, but it seemed to be a lot heavier affected in the US. Now, I don't know if that includes South America or Canada, but definitely in the US, it seemed to be a much bigger problem there. So, yeah, it's maybe the server base related. I know Red Panda said that she didn't have any issues in New Zealand and wasn't aware of anyone else in New Zealand having issues. So, it's an interesting thing, but locking people out of their games because it needs internet sucks, and it shouldn't. It's kind of one of those things where it shouldn't be a thing, but it kind of needs to be because of piracy and all that kind of stuff. So, look, when it works, right? So we don't think about it. We don't even think about it. It's not even in the back of our minds. It's not a thing. But as soon as it stops working, that's when we're like, hang on a second, this is bullshit. Why does this stuff exist? But I also heard somewhere, and I don't know if it was actually from because I can't find it, from an Xbox related tweet, that it was the error message was incorrect as to what the actual issue was.
Yeah, I read that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, even that.
Well, actually, he said the error message it wasn't completely incorrect, but it wasn't descriptive enough as to what was going on. And he was a developer on that side for Microsoft, and he said they need to do a lot of work on their error messaging so that people are more understanding of what's actually happening. So yeah, I did read that.
There was another thing going around about. Some people said no, it's not got nothing to do with it. But when Fortnite went mobile, and it sort of started at the same time, and some people like I think Jez Corden came out and said no, it's got nothing to do with that. But it's just interesting that it happened at the same time, because you could imagine people on their mobile phones in many different countries logging into Fortnite to try it. I mean, I know I did, and then this happened. I don't know, mate. I'd like to know more information about it from Xbox, but they're not really saying too much. So
no, agreed. I would like Phil Spencer to come out about this and say
something. Considering we pay for this service, it isn't good enough. Otherwise, like, PC gamers always say, we don't pay for online. We don't pay for online. You guys do. And the fact that we do, I think we deserve better.
And at least some answers.
Yeah, exactly. At least some answers. If we can't get a direct answer saying, all right, this happened or that happened, or it was an attack, on these servers and this is what caused it, and fine, let us know those things, because as paying customers, you're kind of like, I'm not happy if I can't get in straight away. I expect things to work flawlessly, and I know that's an unrealistic thing, but that's my mentality. So
I'm the same as you, mate. I have no patience whatsoever, brother. Yep.
So even when I had to close down a game 4 times, I was getting shitty just doing that. So you can imagine the people locked out for up to 4 days apparently. How upset would you be? How irate? Yeah. Is Xbox going to do some sort of refund? You paid for that, right?
Oh gosh, go out and touch some grass, guys. Jesus.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's fair.
Grass, what's that, mate?
Cutie, I'm interested to know what your take is, because you seem to think it's not that much of an issue.
Well, look, I mean, like I said before, we pay for a product, and it's very complicated. I even don't fully understand DRMs. However, look, there are worse things in the world. Like, I'm very much I can see the big picture here. And yeah, I'm not going to let it like fully affect my mood, and I don't expect things to work flawlessly all the time. I like to think I'm a pretty understanding person. So yeah, if I do have to reboot a game a couple of times, or have to turn off my Xbox for a short amount of time, whatever it is, I sometimes have, how many times have you restarted your internet, like your router? You know what I mean? Like, how many times have you restarted Discord to get it working? You know what I mean? So it's I think, like I said before, it will be looked at more closely. I think there will be more fixes in the future, especially with diskless gaming becoming more common. Mm-hmm. And but like I said, go outside.
well, I mean, we have a topic leading into that discless gaming, but before we get to there, I'll just say, I'll go to you, Pete, in 2 seconds. Just hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you guys are new to the channel, thanks for coming along. All of you guys who have been coming in and supporting us since we've started, we really appreciate all of you guys. The chat's amazing. I've been reading it as we've been going through, so keep it up. I really appreciate you guys. Pete, what do you reckon?
I moved over to digital because of the ability to game share. So I did it a while ago, pretty much very early on in the Xbox One generation, and I haven't really looked back since. I didn't have a problem. I basically played all the way through the DRM issues. I was playing Halo, and it wasn't until I read my tweets that it was down that I realized anything was wrong. In saying that, I completely understand the frustration. I'm very similar to Ashtray, where I get very annoyed very quickly if things don't work perfectly the first time.
No, you don't. What are you talking about?
So I can understand the frustration.
Boba's saying, I don't have the grass DLC yet. Mate.
And to Palpatine, there can be only one, mate. The original and the best right here, brother. I know, Peter.
I think we talked with Umbra about DRM. Am I incorrect, Umbra? You got something to say about DRM? You did indeed. Right, well, look, talking about digital and Pete moving over to digital, I have, as some of you know and some of you probably don't know, I have an Xbox Series X and I have an Xbox Series S. The X would have been my first purchase. I was actually given my Xbox Series X from Microsoft. I won it in a competition. We're not close personal friends, although I do hang out with Phil on the weekends. We go boating, fishing, golfing, whatever. But I like to buy physical. I've always liked to buy physical. I'm old school like that. But since buying the S, it's obviously limiting. If I buy a physical disc, I cannot play it on my S, and I like to switch between the two. I've got 3 Xboxes in the house running, and I've got 3 screens that I can use, and I shift around depending on what's happening in my day or why. And I can't take my physicals to the S. And that's something that's sort of bothered me. You know, I haven't really said much about it because, well, I just didn't think anything could be really done. I just didn't think they would do anything. But apparently there's a Microsoft patent, and they are looking at it now, where you could buy a physical disc, and your physical disc would be verified for digital use. So this kind of folds into the DRM conversation. Now, they had this patent for a while. I think it was first picked up in 2018. And so they're saying that it's possible that we might see a significant improvement to the issues that they had using the patent, from what I'm reading, and that it might be pretty close to coming, which I think is an amazing thing for them to do. And if they could work on DRM and get that happening so you could license a disc on a digital console as well, I think that's pretty amazing. Umbra, does that affect you in any way? Are you stoked to hear about it, or?
Yeah, a little bit excited about it, absolutely, because...
Wow, your tone says something completely different, mate. You're like,
yeah, guys. No, like, it depends on how far they implement it. The reason I'm not too far going into it, because at first I was like, oh man, yeah, maybe I can buy a used copy and then turn it over and it could be sold at a really cheap price, and and then I can convert that over. But I don't know if that's going to be the case. I feel like it seems like that way, but we're going to have to buy full price too. So then what use is it for me? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, because you could in theory, just bring that. I didn't even think about that. You could buy a physical, download it, get your digital license, and then just sell it off straight away, or return.
Exactly, or just get it really cheap, like I said, used or whatever it may be, and convert that over. Whereas the digital will still be high priced. You know what I mean? So that's the way I look at it. If they do that, then I'm fully in. But otherwise, I have no interest, because I've been all digital since the beginning of the Xbox One generation. So.
It does. It brings up an interesting point, actually, because it's like, well, how does that mean that the used game? How will that affect the used game industry? You know what I mean? Like, so many people buy pre-owned copies. Like, what, are they not going to get the digital license because the first owner has it?
Yeah, it's a very, very good point, Pete. What do you think?
Yeah, look, I said it before. I I changed very early on in the Xbox One generation. I was very similar to you, Risket. I liked having my physical copies. But when gaming changed to having to, even when you get a disc, you have to then download the entire game onto your hard drive. I just found that it was basically pointless. But this is a very, very complicated issue. I don't know the ins and outs of it. I really like to be educated on it. I think that if there was an easy fix, they would have put it in place by now. I think that they are doing their best. In saying that, being off for 4 days is unacceptable in this digital day and age, especially when you own something and you can't play it. People take days off work. People, take, give up family time for gaming. And 4 days is just far, far too long. So I don't know what the fix is. I don't know how often the handshake needs to be done for the license. I would like there to be a bigger grace period, maybe a 3-day grace period. I was thinking that if people that don't own the game get to play it for 3 days because of it, then so be it, as long as the people that have purchased the game are still able to play it. I know that sounds a little bit, silly, because then if you haven't bought the game, you still get to play it, but I don't know. I really don't have an answer, and I'm really not educated enough in DRM to really specify anymore.
Yeah, well, look, they said in the article about this that you could, the idea behind it that I was just reading is that you could take your physical copy into a specific store and trade it in for a digital copy. Astro, are you a physical disc lover, or are you digital? You're going all digital?
Both.
Yeah.
Both. So, for example, AC Valhalla, played that for many, many, many hours, and I've got that on disc. Certain games I like to get on disc, also because I find sometimes it's cheaper over here than getting the digital copy.
Yes, that's my reasoning.
I'll opt for the physical. Now, in terms of moving it from a digital to physical to a digital code or copy, that'd be extremely hard to police. And say if you could plug it into a PC, and then go through your Xbox account, convert it to a digital code, they would have to make the disc itself basically obsolete. So they'd have to somehow stop that disc from working. But that's not going to stop dodgy people from selling it on eBay and stuff like that and making money. And then people, okay, it's only going to be maybe $5 or whatever, but still someone spent $5 and then they get a disc, they put it in their console and it says, error, this game doesn't work, or it's been switched to a digital copy. People are going to be pissed. So I think doing it at homes can't be a thing. I think although it upsets the used market, I think EB Games and GameStop, etc., need to be able to do that as a service to swap games over. So you hand your game in, they put it in something to check that it's not fraudulent or whatever, or already been done, and then once the game works, they then give you a digital code that way.
You're a PC gamer, aren't you, Astro? Is that what CD keys are in the PC space? Is that what, because I always find it, I don't know much about it, but I always found it strange that they were able to sell those digital games so unbelievably cheap on PC. Is that a similar thing? Is that how it works?
So, kind of. So they're CD keys, and there's a few other sites out there. It's kind of a grey area where it's not illegal, but they're able to obtain these codes. And usually they're like, you can buy it by region, but you can also get global codes. And yeah, by doing that, buying them in bulk, they can sell it cheaper. They're legit codes, so it's nothing illegal about it. But how they
Just
get them,
frowned
I'm not
upon.
sure. Just sort of frowned upon, yeah. But yeah, I mean, so that's just a code. I mean, you can get a code through the Microsoft Store as well, but that's obviously going to be full price. This is converting a physical copy to digital, and how they go about that isn't going to be an easy thing to really do.
No, it's going to be pretty tough to navigate. KY Bob in the chat has just brought something to my attention, so we'll pivot for a second and then we'll move on to our next topic. Says Microsoft dropped the ball on Evil Dead last night. The dev tweeted out days ago that the release had been changed to 12 a.m. wherever you lived. Xbox never made that adjustment. Yeah, look, this is a thing with Xbox that's kind of bothered me, and they're getting better with it. Absolutely. But with their release times and game developers' release times, sometimes they're not very, very clear. And people take time off work, or they take, like as Pete was saying, they take time away from their family or time away from their lives to be ready to play the game when it drops. And then only find that it hasn't dropped, and you've got to sit around waiting for however many hours. That did happen to me with, I believe it was Halo, and man, I was pissed. I was not happy at all because the release time was not the release time.
Yeah, I wasn't happy about that either.
Yeah.
I think what they need to do is just have it start at, say, New Zealand time, and then it slowly rolls out, because you can't have, especially for huge games, you can't have a 12 a.m. rollout across the entire world, because it'll just shit on the servers. But I think a rollout, starting over in New Zealand and then rolling it out around the country, around the world, would be the best way to go, in my opinion.
Well, they always used to do that, Ashley, and I don't know why they've changed and they've moved away from that. Yes, people change their times to New Zealand. Everyone becomes a Kiwi for, that that day. Yeah, and I don't understand why they've moved away from that. Halo was a perfect case in point. It was unnecessary to... We could have played, I think, till 10 a.m. the next day. Why does everyone have to be on an American time? Doesn't make sense.
No, yeah. Look, another one that bothers me is when they say holiday release or summer release. It's not summer around the world. There's different.
No, they should convert to Greenwich Mean Time, and then everyone wins.
Yeah, a set time, whichever time, could be from wherever they want to roll it. Like just a set time, so they roll it out. Yeah, I completely agree with you.
We're always ahead of Greenwich Mean Time. No, then Australia and New Zealand miss out. I don't like that idea whatsoever. I like being in the future.
It's going to be first.
Yeah. Look,
everyone wants to be first.
Absolutely agreed. Look, we'll move on to our next topic, unless anyone has anything to say about the patent physical digital games, Cutie. You didn't speak on that, Joe? Oh, you did a little bit.
Yeah, I did a little bit.
I
have. I don't think I have. I don't think I have anything more to say because I don't know. I don't know how it works. Like, when I think about that though, I think about how. So, I'm a teacher. So when we get textbooks, they come with a code for the PDF version of the textbook. So I'm trying to figure out how that would work with the discs, and I don't know, it's making my brain hurt, so I'm trying not too hard to think about it, but yeah, I do think it would impact the way that the used game industry does work. So.
For sure. Just to finalize it, I'll say this, and someone said it in the chat, and I completely agree, and this is the way that it needs to be done in regards to DRM. I think it was Boba, why can't that server just shake hands with that disc copy or that digital copy once that copy is then verified? And that is it. I don't see any reason why you need to continually handshake, maybe once a month or whatever it is, but it doesn't need to be almost every time you boot up. Welcome to the chat, Forever Night. Fantastic to have you here, guys. We've got, I think, 30 people in chat. So welcome to all of you guys. If you're new here, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It just bumped up to 33. Woo! Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And we'll move on to our next topic, which is Gotham Knights dropped their trailer, and there was a fair bit of negativity about this. And I thought it looked good. I mean, I know some of the animations with Nightwing, how he kind of slid across the floor, looked a little bit rough, in my opinion, but they weren't terrible. I think this game got a pretty bad rap.
Looks like a 360 game.
Oh, stop it!
Oh, perfect. We'll go to Ashtray and see why he thinks it looks like a 3. I will add this: in Australia, the collector's edition is $500. That is ridiculous.
Damn.
That is ridiculous. That is who's bought? I don't know. I don't have that kind of money.
Whoa.
And I'm not completely broke, but Jesus, $500. Like, what the fuck? Ashtray.
Look, it's pre-alpha footage anyway, so my theory is that once it releases, that it will be much better. But what I saw, maybe it's my eyesight, but it didn't look too good to me, to be honest with you. And it wasn't. It was the whole package, the whole presentation. the animations and the graphics looked pretty ordinary to me, which is why my theory is this. Now, they say they're going to drop the versions for the Xbox One and the PS4, and the game was being built on Unreal Engine 4. My theory is that they're going to move over to Unreal Engine 5. Is my theory, and they're like, well, it's going to be extra dev time, so let's scrap those two versions and not waste the team or teams on that. Let's bring them over to this, and then we'll use that dev time that we could have used there over here, convert it into UE5, and then when they release it or show another trailer just before it drops, it's going to look fantastic. That's my opinion on that. That's my theory anyway.
Forever Knight says he had 23 flips before he got to his other opponent in 1.5 seconds. That was 30 feet away. Yeah, it may be a little bit over the top. It was kind of cool, but Doom, what do you think? Were you excited about it? I mean, it's co-op. That's amazing. Be a perfect Game Pass edition.
Yeah, definitely. I liked it. I liked the gameplay that I saw, but like Ashtray said, it's pre-alpha, so you it's not final what we saw. I think people were very critical of it. I think, and in regards to the 23 flips, they're trying to show off what you can do. He's quite a flamboyant sort of fighting style, which is really nice to see. And yeah, I love the idea that it could be coming to Game Pass. I can play with my friends, and I would like to play with 3 of my friends, so we could all play a character.
Good point.
But I understand. Yeah, but I do understand that is extra time, extra whatever. There's things in there that I don't understand. I'm just happy that I can play with one other person. $500 for the collector's edition is a lot. It's a lot of money. I personally will not be spending that amount of money for a collector's edition ever. Hogwarts Legacy may be another story, but the fact of the matter is $500 is 3/4 of the price of the console that I'm playing it on. So yeah, not happy about that. But like I said, I'm not buying it, so it's not really a problem for me.
Well, that's. I mean, if it comes to Game Pass, that would be amazing. But I'll probably buy this game. And you made a very good point there. It was touted as 4-player co-op initially, and from what we're hearing, it's only 2 now. Jedi, you have an issue with that?
Yeah, look, I was really looking forward to playing 4-player co-op with you guys. I've said it a million times on this show, gaming with friends is always the best way to do it. And, yes, co-op is fantastic, but you've always got more than one friend that you feel bad when someone misses out. And that's why I was really, really afraid that they were going to change Halo from 4-player co-op to 2-player co-op. I was really glad when Joe stayed and clarified that. But in this game, they did say it was going to be 4-player co-op. They've backtracked on that to 2-player co-op. I'm not sure why they've done that. I think it was the wrong decision. I think if they needed to take more time to make it 4-player co-op, that would have been the right way to go. Unfortunately, it is what it is. In terms of the gameplay itself, I love the Arkham Knight series. I think it's fantastic, and I think that the combat in it is absolutely flawless. So many games have then copied that combat style, Spider-Man being a perfect example of that. And yeah, the 23 flips thing, I like that they've stayed true to the comics. That's how Nightwing fights in the comics. That's how Batgirl fights in the comics. That's how Red Hood fights in the comics. That's how Robin fights in the comics. They are staying true to the comics, and there's been so many cases that I've complained about recently where they move away from the original lore to make it supposedly better or whatever. I like that they're staying true to the originals. Yes, the animations could be done a little bit better. In saying that, I think this game looks fine. I think it looks quite good. It is still in pre-alpha. We don't know how old the copies that they showed us. Hopefully it looks better in the future, but Another thing I'll say, I've been crying out for a darker, more mature narrative for a while in a game, and this just ticks all those boxes for me. I think the Court of Owls is a fantastic um, way to go. I love that Freemasons, dark secret society
underground.
atmosphere. Yeah, in the
Yeah.
shadows, pulling the strings in the background. Not some big tough bad guy that you're gonna have to fight, but a more smart, dark secret society that are pulling the strings without anybody actually knowing, and it lends itself to that detective noir at Gotham that I really love. So really looking forward to it. Wish it was 4-player co-op, but I can't wait for October 25th. I think Forever Knight wanted to know when it's coming out in October. It is for October 25th, mate. So yeah.
It is. It is.
when
You're
I-
absolutely right. I'll just say before we move to, I'll go to you, Doom, and then we'll go to Umbra because we haven't got Umbra's take. Panda, I'm only the assist queen because you run around and steal my kills, basically up my ass the entire time. Look, if you're here, guys, thank you very, very much. We really appreciate you guys in the chat. It's amazing to have you all in every week. And anyone that's new, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share it out, get it out to your friends. We are going places, but we're not going anywhere without you guys because you guys are what powers the show. Umbra, what do you think about this whole... Sorry, I was going to go to Doom first. I'll go to Doom and then I'll jump back to Umbra. Doom, you were going to say?
No, I can't say what I wanted to say because you ruined my flow. It's fine.
Umbra.
Well, this is now a test, cutie. So now he's testing you to see how you can move on the fly, to get you in here and get you ingratiated with us and, on the podcast side of things. So let's see how you handle that. Let's go.
No, it's all
Jump in.
good. It's just some things
You have
sound
to
weird
put
when you
that-
say them standalone. That's all.
That's true.
You have to put that comment up from Panda in the see it, mate.
I did. I know. I put that one up. That one went up. Yeah. That one went up.
Umbra,
That's it, queen. This is queen.
Yeah.
Umbra, are you? Can I be Batgirl and you can be Nightwing?
Absolutely. That's what I was going to pick anyway. So, yeah.
Oh, let's go.
Oh, my
Yeah,
God.
although
Anyway,
Jason-
Umbra, moving on.
Jason Todd does have the nice little mystical jump powers, though. I don't know. I might like that. And to bust a cap in somebody's ass. I don't know. One of those two might come in handy.
Non-lethal
jumping around
rounds, though. Non-lethal. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah.
That's true. That's true. By the way, when the hell did he get so big? Like a Hulk almost. Like that. Like look how big he is compared to everybody.
Yeah,
It's
he's
weird
pretty
a little
bulky.
bit.
Been hitting that
Design choice
protein
wise.
shakes,
Yeah. I guess that Lazarus pit did him some good. But yeah, I was planning on using Nightwing anyway. Either maybe him or Robin. So yeah, but I think the game will be decent. I will say though, just visually, does anyone else feel like it's a little less visually appealing than Arkham Knight?
Well, here's a question. They released gameplay footage, I think it was 2019 or 2020, and that looked absolutely amazing, right? Do you think that what they released then matches what they release now?
No, I think your eyes have gotten worse.
Risky for the glasses.
Perfect 2020. I'm perfect 2020. What do you think, Umbra? Do you think?
Sorry. Boba did mention that when they showed the Batgirl Robin gameplay, it did look better than the Nightwing Red Hood gameplay. So
Yes.
I'm not sure what's going on there. I actually watched it in 4K, so I would recommend that if you haven't seen it in 4K or at its highest resolution that you can, when they originally streamed it, it was something like 420p. So I recommend going back, watching it again. It does look a hell of a lot better when you up the resolution.
Hey, I'm sorry to say this, but interrupt, but Donnie in the chat said Jason Todd looks like he turns off his body camera.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, he does look a little body camera turn offish. Yeah.
All right, look, we'll move on to the next topic, which is a fairly interesting one and one that we have spoken on the show about previously, but it's one that was brought to the forefront by one of the Sony executives. They have reiterated and come out, and the CFO, which is Chief Financial Officer, has come out. Well, I don't know why the Chief Financial Officer would have a take on this, but anyway, that they would lose quality. I mean, I suppose he would know. They would lose quality if they were to adopt a Game Pass style strategy. I don't know, maybe it adds a little bit of weight, seeing as it's the CFO, Hikori Totoki. Hopefully I got that wrong. If you're listening, Hikori, apologies if I messed it up. But look, that's just... It's
He's
bullshit.
out of touch. He's out of touch with the reality on that one.
Yeah,
Sure.
Agreed. I 110% agree. I just... How? I mean, look at Game Pass is going strength to strength. You always take a hit. Like Netflix took a hit. Disney took a hit. Prime took a hit. All of these companies with subscription streaming services, they all take a hit to start with. And then they've got basically revenue that just streams in. What you call it? Self-perpetuating revenue, pretty much. Especially when you've got lock-in. This is one thing where Game Pass, I think, is a bit of a letdown. They don't have a yearly subscription. And I think with that, their numbers would go up. Ashtray, you think, you've already said you think this is a bit of rubbish. What's your take?
Yeah. Look, if you read his tweet, it sounds to me just like their old way of doing business, and they don't want to change it for some reason. They're sort of scared to move out of their comfort zone. And look, let's be honest, I can kind of understand why. Sony's been doing the same thing in gaming since 1992 or 3 or whatever it was when the PS1 came out. And they've never really deviated from that, or not too much anyway. So that tweet just sort of tells me that they're still not willing to make too many changes to their core business and how they run it, which who knows? But in my opinion, I kind of think that that's a bad sign. And we even had, what's his name? That analyst on RDX about a month ago say, Sony won't be the same as what we know it today.
Michael Patrick.
David Jesse?
Yeah, that's it. Pacta.
Michael.
And
Michael
and I agree with that. It's not saying that they're going away. It's just that they're not going to be the same as what they are today. Because they're not going to pivot. They clearly don't want to, and they probably can't too. So they're just doubling down and staying on the same sort of path that they've been that they know. So.
In fairness to Sony, it has worked incredibly well for them, but everything changes, and subscription services are the number one way that people consume their entertainment these days.
Indeed.
And I think it's proven to be very consumer friendly, and so far we haven't seen a drop in quality from games that are coming on Game Pass. Now, I'll play devil's advocate here for a little bit. I don't think this will happen, but it might. We might see a drop in quality because people are making games specifically for Game Pass. Or not so much a drop in quality, but a drop in the amount of content that will then come later that you'll have to pay for. I can't see Microsoft doing that. I think that would be an incredibly stupid way to go. But I can understand that take. But we have to go from what we've seen. And I haven't seen any drop in quality in terms of Game Pass. If anything, I've played more games. I've enjoyed my gaming time more. I just can't believe the amount of games that I've got to try for what I basically consider as free. And yeah, Game Pass has been phenomenal for the industry. We constantly say it's not just the best. The best for the consumer in gaming. It's the best for the consumer in entertainment. It's the best deal in entertainment. It's amazingly good value. I understand what Richard's saying about the yearly subscriptions for Game Pass being an issue, but I think they've done that on purpose. I don't think they can really reduce the price. In Australia, for example, we usually would get a much bigger increase in price when it comes to America, but they've actually haven't. I think if you do the conversion. It's actually cheaper in Australia. They just added the GST, so loving that Microsoft are doing that. They're really pushing this Game Pass thing. I can't see them trying to impact it negatively by reducing the quality. And I hope we never do see that. But I just think it's Sony trying to talk down a service that they're just not able to compete with at the moment.
I agree. I think that's what it ultimately comes down to. It's just a scapegoat. Well, we can't do that because the games will suffer. What it comes down to is Sony doesn't really have the money to do it. So I guess that would be fair. But then obviously you can't say what you're going to say from a position of weakness, right? So they can't be like, oh, we don't have the income for that. But that's what it comes down to. I don't think they have the infrastructure. Exactly, the infrastructure or the capital to actually do what Microsoft is doing. For one.
Yeah, you know what? I totally agree with that. It's a massive cop out, and I'm with Jedi there, where Game Pass has actually made me enjoy gaming a lot more, and I've played more games than I would have without it. So it's so convenient for me, and it's so entertaining. So I don't know. It seems really dumb for Sony not to reject it and say, oh no, we won't be doing that. Because it's actually what has kept. I think it's really encouraged me to game more.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on
I
that.
don't think I would have bought Trek to Yomi, for example, and I'm loving that game. Yeah. So just another example of how good it is. Sorry, Umbra.
I've done that for a few games too, and I agree with you on that too, Jedi and QD. I think it's just a cop out when it comes down to it. And the bad part for me, it always comes down to the fanboys who will defend it for them. It's like, no, let them make that argument. You don't need to argue against your best interest. And that's the problem I have with that. But I mean, to me, if they had that service, I would absolutely subscribe to it. Just as I have with Game Pass. Game Pass is the best deal in gaming for a reason. And Sony could emulate that if they had the capital and the infrastructure, like Ashtray pointed out as well. So, but they don't. So I guess it's just a matter of both things being the issue, though they could still put a game if they wanted a first party game in there.
And we talked about this, haven't we, Umbra? We think that they will pick and choose their first party games that they'll put into their premium service on day one, but I just don't see them doing the bigger titles like God of War and Spider-Man and Wolverine, and that's incredibly disappointing because on the flip side, Xbox are going to be getting Hellblade and Fable and Perfect Dark and Starfield when it eventually drops, and they will be coming day and date. I still haven't bought Halo. The amount of hours I've put into Halo, and I haven't actually. Oh wait, no,
I'm sorry, I'm wrong. I did buy Halo.
I mean, I've purchased the battle passes, and I've purchased a few things from the store to support the developer, but I actually haven't bought the game. Same thing with Hivebusters. I haven't actually purchased it, but I've played it numerous times.
I couldn't resist that steelbook. I had to get it. So, yeah.
I did buy Halo. I bought Halo and I bought the battle passes, but I did not buy Forza. But I mean, I love the hell out of Forza. So
I got the Halo limited edition console, so I bought it.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yes, nice. I got the limited edition console as well, actually, but I actually haven't opened the console, so I never got the code out of there, mate, because it's still...
look at this baller.
Yeah,
look at this baller right here.
It's tied to the console, mate. Yeah. Oh, yeah,
look at this baller just has an extra Xbox Series X just sitting around. All right, I see you.
I got 2 Series X's.
Oh, look at all the ballers over there in Australia. Wow, okay. Y'all trying to take over. I knew it. I said this pre-show.
I'm thinking about getting a Series S too, but we'll see.
Nice, mate.
Yeah, look, the Series S is an amazing
console to take to your friends' houses or, to give to your kids to play around with, mate.
It is an amazing console. Like, I was a bit iffy about getting the Series S, but when I traveled to the UK, that's what I got, and I've never wanted to play at 1080p. But look, it runs amazingly. It's as good as the X on boot up, on speed, and it runs pretty much just as well. I don't think it's going to hold back the generation. I will just say this: Wolverine day and date, that's happening. Ashtray, you saying?
I was just going to say, since I got the Halo Edition console, I let my kids use my other Series X, my launch Series X. So yeah, it's dodgy, isn't it? Like, I've got 2 Series X's and an 8 and 6-year-old get to use one free of charge. How lucky can you get, huh?
Yeah, but they'll work it
Sorry,
off when they
guys
get
out
older.
there who still don't have one.
Get out
Are you,
there.
are you looking to adopt anyone?
Yeah, I get you, but Astray, that Halo Special Edition console is precious, mate.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Look, we've got a few more topics that we've got to move through, guys, and I do want to talk about them, so we will move forward. And just a real quick one: FIFA and EA parting ways. That's crazy to see. Pete, I'll go to you because you know a little bit about this and how many licensing agreements EA holds with specific teams. So they still will be carrying on making their soccer game. It just won't be called FIFA. Do you think it's going to hurt them, Pete?
No, I don't think it will. FIFA were asking for an exorbitant amount of money. I think it was in something like $4 billion or something absolute. I don't know how much it was, to be honest. It wasn't $4 billion, obviously, but it was just an exorbitant amount of money. I haven't really looked into it, but I do know that EA holds licenses with about 25 to 30 actual teams. So all those teams will be in the game, and they'll, it won't be like Superstars of or Pro Evolution Soccer or whatever they've rebranded that franchise to be, where you know what team you're playing as, but you can't actually have the names, you can't actually have the actual name of the club. So you will still be able to play as the team that you want to play as and the players that you want to play as, and they have individual contracts with players as well, and they've already done the digital recreations of a lot of these players, so I don't think it'll impact it too heavily. I think FIFA were just asking too much money, and yeah, look, FIFA or
Greedy bastards.
now without whatever it's going to be called, football 2024, or for the millionth fucking iteration of it, will still be a juggernaut in the industry, and it'll still be as fun to play as it ever was.
Yeah, absolutely. I personally don't have any interest in FIFA, but it's massive. Any of you guys on the panel here, you guys into FIFA?
Zero interest in
No.
FIFA.
I've never played FIFA games, although the fact of the matter is, it's such a long relationship, and to have that disbanded is interesting. So
Yeah.
It's
interesting. They like, it seems like they talked themselves out of a bag, right? Because they were being really greedy. But
yeah, they did. They're exactly right. They've actually hurt themselves. FIFA have hurt themselves. They thought that there's no way that EA wouldn't pay for the license, and they've called their bluff.
I like it.
Yeah,
I'm not into sports games, but I reckon they should just change the name to AFIF, which is FIFA backwards. And a bit of an F to them, if they could get away with that.
FIFA 2.0.
Yeah, look, they're two greedy companies, so I think...
FIFA is corrupt. It's one of the most corrupt corporations in the entire world. It's a joke that they're able to survive for this long. FIFA are a joke. The heads of FIFA have made millions upon millions of dollars from bribes. Yeah, billions from bribes that countries give them in order to gain favour in getting the World Cup. Case in point is Qatar getting the World Cup, a massive oil-rich nation that commits atrocities on their neighbours, and they were still able to get the World Cup, even though the players are going to be playing in 40-degree heat. It's going to be an absolute joke. They should never have got the World Cup. And FIFA, I think America did take them to court when they put a World Cup bid in and were unsuccessful because they didn't bribe them. And I think Australia was in the same boat where, we're not going to bribe anybody. We're just, we don't believe in that. But there are these countries like Qatar that will fill the back pockets of these FIFA executives. And yeah, I think soccer or football, whatever you want to call it, as a whole suffers. And I think EA was right to move away from FIFA.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's move on to topic because it's getting a little bit political. Listen, we'll move on to the old jumper topic and come back. Ubisoft confirmed 3 major releases this year. For 2023. And if you've been watching the ticker at all, I put a few. The ticker's or the text that scrolls down the bottom. I put a few little gems in there every week. I don't know if you guys pick up on it, but like I said, Ubisoft confirmed 3 major releases unless Xbox gets involved, and then we're looking at 2024 or 2025. And these games we know that one of them is
sorry, my apologies, Risket. I said 30 partners. It's actually 300 partners that EA have for the feature franchise.
So that's pretty much all of them. So the 3 games that we've definitely got a confirmation on is Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora, and the film trailer just recently dropped, and it looks pretty good, and a lot of people are bagging on that too. There's so much cancel culture these days, but to me it looked really, really good. My daughter absolutely loves Avatar, and she'll be coming over this morning, and I can't wait. She doesn't know it's dropped the trailer, and I can't just wait to see her face when she sees the trailer. So I'm pretty excited about that. Also, Skull and Bones, which I'm also excited about, but I seem like I'm the only guy on the planet who gives a shit about Skull and Bones. I love the combat. I love the combat. Sorry, go ahead.
Lobby of one.
Yeah, it's what it's going to be, man. It's going to be crazy. But it looks absolutely... I think it looks amazing. Another one that I'm excited for that's going completely off topic is that Century Age of Ashes, the dragon flying dogfighting game. Oh, man, loved it. Can't believe there's not more hype. It's free to play. I love that game. It looks absolutely amazing. It is only on next gen as well. And that game, honestly, guys, we're not doing our spotlight game segment anymore. It's a little bit too much for me to add. But if I could, I would be doing that one as a spotlight because it looks amazing. So get on it. Century Age of Ashes. It's free. And the other one is Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope. Now, that was a bit of a smash hit on the Switch. Everyone loved that tactical turn-based, I believe it was. So yeah, it's pretty exciting to see Ubisoft actually releasing some games that people fucking want instead of this crap they've been trying to push on people lately. I mean, maybe Skull and Bones isn't one. So are you guys excited for this? Doom? Is there anything in there that you're interested in? Do you have a Switch?
I do have a Switch. Not many people know that because I don't really post much content about it. Yeah, I do have a Switch. I actually played Rabbids like when I was a kid. So that game really, it's a bit of a, it's very nostalgic for me. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know much about this topic, to be honest. But yeah, I don't know what to say. What was the question?
No, the question was the 3 games coming out: Skull and Bones, Mario Rapids. And I'm sorry, I went off on a bit of a tangent there, but you pretty much talked about everything. A little bit of my life, a little bit of movies, a little bit of games that people are playing. Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora is an open world game, and that does look pretty amazing. So yeah.
Yeah, I think the Avatar game, along with the Avatar movie, I think that's a smart move, and I think it'll be really successful. So
yeah, it's being developed by the guys who did The Division, which is Massive Entertainment, and I do believe it's using the Snowdrop engine. Astray, you, I think I could be wrong, but I think I've seen you playing The Division, or you're into it.
Yeah, big fan of Division 2. Definitely one of my favorite games to play. We should team up if you've got a copy of it. Sure. In regards
Absolutely.
to
Sorry, I was having a coughing fit in the background on mute.
That's all right. So I thought I'd just try and keep getting my way through it. But the Avatar Frontiers of Pandora looks pretty awesome. I'm definitely down for that game. In regards to Mario Rabbids, I've actually never played a Rabbids game, so I wouldn't know what to do. I do have a Switch. I usually play either Mario Kart 8, Splatoon 2, which is one of my favorite games, or a few Mario games, but don't know as I'd get into that. We'll see. And Skull and Bones, I don't know, man. I was a big fan of I can't even think of the name of it now. Sea of Thieves. Yeah, that's the one. Sea of Thieves. And I used to play that quite a lot. Never got as deep into it as some people, but I spent quite a lot of hours into it. and that game's pretty fun. I haven't really picked it up for a long time. I've done a couple of the story-based quests, but that's about it.
Mhm.
So I don't know about this one. It depends on the gameplay. I probably need to see a bit more of it, to be honest with you, to really make an informed decision on that game. It looks all right, but I don't know what the gameplay is going to be like. So
From
we'll see.
what they're showing it's basically the ship-to-ship based combat that they had in Black Flag, Assassin's Creed. But there's not a hell of a lot of getting on land. Apparently, there's just the hub worlds where you can get out and do a bit of trade, and you even mine like resources from the ship. This is a bit weird. You kind of pull up next to a cliff and start mining out the metal. Umbra, I know you're super excited about Skull and Crossbones. Don't lie to the people.
Shout out to Doomsayers Network as well. Thank you guys for coming over. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, and Web Dave. Before we go to Umbra, I was at Web Dave as well. Thank you for coming in of the Outbreak podcast. He did an interview with Dealer, which was absolutely amazing. I really enjoyed that. Watched the entire thing in piecemeal, as I often do, because I can't always catch all the podcasts live. So I watch them a little bit here, a little bit there while I'm doing housework or whatever. If you are here and you're new, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share it out, let your friends know. Umbra, what do you think? I know you love Skull and Bones. Tell me the truth.
I think Riskit might have a future in an auction house. 45, 45, 45, 45, 45 for the sold.
You didn't understand that.
Yeah, right. No, but shout out to everybody that joined us, by the way. But yeah, I have the sea shanties I'm preparing to sing just because you keep hyping that game up. So yeah, I think we all got to be like in unison in our chat or something, like in our party. Like yo ho. We got to start singing. Doom Cutie, you can lead us on.
Drunken sailor.
Right. What you do with a drunken sailor? Right. Exactly. Early in the morning.
Yo ho, yo hi.
That's so good. That I used to sail everywhere. I never fast traveled just to listen to the sea shanties.
I did too. I actually did love that in their games. I don't know.
Wow, you guys are nerds, aren't you?
Yes, we are. Welcome
Proud
to
of
our
it.
world.
Proud of it.
Bubba, we're talking about Skull and Bones from Ubisoft. But yeah, absolutely. I think if it turns out okay, it is what it is. I'll
He knows what we're talking about. He's just been a smart ass.
Okay. Yeah, if it turns out good, I'm all for it, whatever. I'm all for games coming out well. I just don't have any faith in that game. To me, it seems like now it's kind of at that point of being shovelware. You know what I mean? To me, It's been so long. Yeah. But we'll see. Bushido said, "Who am I calling?"
Yeah, I just watched that.
What about Pandora, Umbra?
You guys run the show.
Oh, they're awesome. They're awesome. What do you think about Pandora? Not Pandora. Avatar. Pandora.
I love Avatar movie. I'm always extremely worried when there's a game made of a movie because it's never done justice. They usually just play off the IP's name and release a half-assed version. Because the casuals will buy it because it has that name that's associated with that IP. I hope I'm wrong with this. I would love an Avatar game. There's just so much that you could do with that Avatar world. The flying, the Na'vi are really, really, really cool. The mechs.
There's so much
that it's flipped around. That the humans are actually the baddies. There's so much into that game, and I think the Snowdrop engine will serve it quite well. Like the big open world, something akin to Assassin's Creed. So I think Ubisoft are a right fit. I just hope they give it the time and the polish that the name Avatar deserves. And we haven't seen that recently with games that are based on movies.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. But you are talking the Snowdrop engine, as you mentioned, and the developers, the Division, which gives me a bit of hope for this game. And look, I'm pretty excited for that. I'm pretty excited for Skull and Bones. Look, maybe I'm too easily excited. And then too easily disappointed when it comes. You're always going to take it there, don't you? Every time. All right, look, we'll move on to the next one. Xbox is consistently outselling PlayStation. It's been 6 months now, and I think there was 1 month where the PlayStation caught up and outsold the Xbox Series consoles by just a small amount. But Xbox has been consistently outselling PlayStation, as I said, for 6 months. That is absolutely crazy when you look at the previous generation. Xbox couldn't get a break. So Umbra, what do you think's driving these sales?
I think it's amazing that so many people are picking up an Xbox Series X or S when they have no interest in it. Isn't that something, everybody? And
Well,
I
it's
mean,
just-
continuously, like every month, they keep doing it. I don't know why. Who would have thought?
Crazy,
Not having
isn't
the
it?
PlayStation there, right? Like they're not having the PlayStation, they would just settle for the Xbox. It's amazing. No, it's actually really good. It's a good sign of things to come. One thing I'll say, despite what seems to be mismanagement here and there, and our conjecture, whatever, on that when it comes to the game side of things, they absolutely did launch, or at least announce the Series X much better than the Xbox One and was announced. So they have a lot going for it, and Game Pass itself is also going to carry it. And then you have the Series S, which is the Game Pass machine. So it's just the value proposition is just ridiculous. So I can see why it's doing so well, and it's good to see it doing so well over in, like, Asian territories and stuff like that as well, and Japan, and even actually in Japan, I think right now is outsold lifetime sales of the Xbox One, which is sad but also impressive. I don't know, it's really weird. So I'm excited for it to see it continue to grow. Obviously, we as gamers wouldn't care about their money because ultimately we're not getting any of it. But it's good as far as the growth of the platform, and to see that it's doing well, because that only means good things for us as games will come from it.
Exactly. I'm glad you said that because, we don't care about the money, but the strength of the ecosystem is extremely important to me, because the strength of the ecosystem guarantees the ecosystem continuing. Ashtray, you picked this up in the news, and why do you think the Xbox Series X, Series consoles, as unwanted as they are and trash as they are selling so well?
Yeah, I heard a lot of people are buying them and then just throwing them in the bin. So, kidding. So, yeah, look, it's doing well, and it's been a build-up over the last couple of years to get to where they are now. So it's been a momentum thing. I believe it started with the One S and One X. I think bringing that power narrative back and getting people into the ecosystem with the One S to in that, that cheaper option, and the more powerful option for us, more hardcore gamers. And I think that was the beginning there to set the precedent. And then obviously Game Pass is a huge needle mover, console mover, whatever you want to call it, especially with the casual market. To add to that, that's a lot more advertising going on now. Xbox are seeing a lot more, because there was quite a while there. Every time I go on YouTube, because I don't really watch free-to-air TV, too many ads and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll jump on YouTube and I'll watch different videos, and there was always just PlayStation 4 ads constantly, all the time. And I was like, where the hell are these Xbox ads? When am I going to start seeing them? And about a year ago, they started coming through, and they're coming through a lot more consistently, a lot more often. You're seeing them in on the side of buses. When Halo launched, you see Master Chief on the side. So their advertising has grown a lot more as well. So all of that sort of combined, all the good, just the good praise that everyone on Twitter is putting up screenshots of their consoles, and we're talking about it more, and it's just a more positive light. The media is more positive on it in terms of Game Pass again, and just some of the games that have been announced. Obviously, we haven't seen anything yet, but just all of that has just been this big build up to people, casuals, going, let's get this, let's jump into this ecosystem. Or I've even seen people on Twitter go, and PlayStation's not really doing it for me this time round. I'm gonna go back to Xbox. So they're the people that jump from the 360 to the PS4 and now back to the Xbox. So, and you'll always get those kind of people as well. So yeah, it's just it's really good. Let's just hope, like, the momentum has dropped a little bit, but let's hope that they can continue that with more announcements coming up soon.
Yeah, well, look, absolutely. I think you made a very valid point there. People coming over from PlayStation. I think you have to remember there's a lot of talk in the community about how Xbox at the moment isn't really delivering much. PlayStation is not delivering much either. And there's no release dates in the future. So there's at the moment, personally, I have a PlayStation 5. Haven't turned it on, and there hasn't really been a reason for me to turn it on. I'll admit I don't like the Horizon series. They're boring as batshit, in my personal opinion, so I don't play them. Yeah, look, you made some
Glad
very valid
Palpatine
points.
changed his name back to Palpatine and not Jedi Knight Peter because there can only be one. But he made a great point. He got into the community with the One X, and it's the ecosystem and the community that converted him. And I'm the same. It's the community. It's the Xbox community. It's all you guys in the chat. It's all the friends I've made on Xbox that keeps me here. Yes, the games are great, but I love the Xbox community, and I think it's head and shoulders above the PlayStation community.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That's such a great point. Like I have a PS5 as well, and I only just got it, so yeah, and my experience of it has been pretty dismal, to be honest. Yeah, there's not like this massive. I don't feel like there's this massive community, or the vibes just aren't there. So I often, whenever I'm playing the PS5, I just sort of like, oh, this really isn't like what I want to be doing. So, but I will, in regards to sales, like every time I put up a post or, I show off a little bit of my collection or anything like that, people always comment, and these are from ponies as well. They always say that Xbox does peripherals so much better than PlayStation.
They really do. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And I agree with that. Like, I love different controllers. The headsets are always so much nicer. So I think that potentially could be adding to them getting more sales. But that's just my little personal opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. If you guys are just joining us, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Going once, going twice. If you look on the screen here, you'll see one of my favorite games. Where we basically just set babies on fire, electrocute them.
I remember this.
Yeah, I'll try to kill them. It's such a great game. Get onto it.
The fork. I still need to play that.
Oh, it's great. I love it.
Last game.
Umbra. I think we went to you. We did. Jedi.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah,
Jedi.
that was the first.
No, you went to me, mate.
Yeah, everyone's talked.
I'm sorry. I was just watching the baby get burnt in the thing. And
Oh, thanks, Machino, mate. I appreciate you, brother. Listen to
Giggling.
Risket, mate. He's a moron.
Jedi Fallen Order was delayed and no one gives a shit. It's weird, right? I was really disappointed. It's two great games delayed. Yeah, like no one seemed to be talking about it, obviously because it's not a first-party game, but like that sucks, man. The first one was absolutely, I love it. And when they did the update, like it just took it to a new level. So yeah, look, I'm pretty disappointed about that. We've got that topic, and we'll move on to one more before we shut her down. But Umbra, were you disappointed about Jedi? I mean, not the person. I mean the game.
Disappointed about me.
Not actually.
I'm disappointed in both. You're absolutely right. You got it right. I didn't want to reveal this on the podcast, but damn it, it's been enough. No. Yeah, I'm actually disappointed that it's not released this year.
Your brother.
Right. No, but I'm a little disappointed that it's not releasing this year. Did you all hear the news about supposedly they had a black woman that they were supposed to have as the protagonist, but the EA, I guess.
I shared it. I shared it on my. There was a person who worked on the first project. And hold on, I'm just going to scroll to it now.
And they went as white as you can get, like a red-headed white guy with blue eyes. Like that's you can't get any whiter than that.
Yeah, but they brought that guy in, and he has a background in Muay Thai fighting. He actually was really good with what he did, his animations that he did with the lightsaber. So I think they. I mean,
are you talking about Moynihan? Moynihan actually has all of that. I didn't know that.
The guy that played the protagonist in Jedi Fallen Order, I forget his name, the redhead kid. Yeah,
I think it's
so
Moynihan
he's actually
or something like that.
Yeah, he's actually a Muay Thai fighter. He did it growing up. He's a black belt and all this other stuff, and that really contributed to him getting the role.
Right, Doom, you're about to say you're pulling up an article.
Oh yeah, so there was a woman that previously worked with the devs of the first Jedi, and basically a lot of the devs wanted and advocated for the main character to be black or a woman. Reasons for no was we already have two black people in the game. Rey is a woman, and we can't do that too. So
Oh,
it's
right.
like, well,
That's interesting.
yeah.
Well, look,
Yeah.
me and you, Doom, we talked about this a little while ago, about Star Wars characters and how there's not really a strong Star Wars female game lead, not movie lead. So I'll throw it to the panel.
Yeah.
I will tell you what the poll ended up with, because I had, would you like to see more female protagonists?
Yeah, that was a good one.
In a in a Star Wars game. Do you not care? Or does it? Well, the one was like, do you not care or no? And the other one was, if it fits the story. And the resounding answer was, if it fits the story. So Ashtray, would you like to see some more female protagonists within a Jedi? I mean, Ahsoka would be a great character.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Ashtray?
I love
Yeah,
Ahsoka.
yeah. Why not? I mean, there's no reason not to, in my opinion.
I just think the whole idea. Sorry.
No, you're right.
There you go.
The whole idea behind the Jedi, there's the kind of life that they lead, like they sacrifice their own, their personal life. They don't have relationships, or they don't have children. They don't have families, that sort of thing. Like, I feel like it could be such a really deep story if they had a strong female Jedi. Like, I would love that. I would love it so much.
Absolutely. Ashtray, do you want to see one?
Yeah, look, I don't mind. Look, when it comes to the game itself, I didn't like the first one, and dealing
What?
yeah,
Wow.
don't like it. I've tried it so many times.
Wow.
I absolutely
And
hate
that's
it.
the last we're going to hear on Ashtray.
Thank you for coming by, Ashtray. We'll ask you to leave. Take your leave, sir. I say good day, sir.
I'm actually surprised that this is news to you guys, because Dealer constantly gives me shit about it on RDX.
Yeah, I kind of do.
Whenever Jedi Fallen Order comes up in conversation, he always calls me out and calls me a fraud and tells me to get good, basically. So I thought it was a well-known fact. But yeah, look, I wasn't a fan of it, so I probably won't even look at the second one, to be honest with you. But in regard
Can I ask
to,
you why, Ashtray? Like,
I don't like the
for me,
combat.
yeah, okay, so you're not a Dark Souls fan. I was a long-time Dark Souls fan, and I think that they basically copy and pasted that movement into the game, and I love that, mate. That's what
cool.
made the game for me.
And that's it. I mean, options for everyone, right? We can't all like the same stuff.
Yeah, exactly, mate.
Yeah, so for me, I don't like it, and that's just me. But when it comes to a female protagonist, yeah, of course. I mean, just look at Tomb Raider. It's good to have a strong female lead. In games, it shouldn't. To me, it's kind of like a non-issue, because regardless of gender or race, it shouldn't be a thing. It is what it is. You want Hispanic female, go for it, no problem. Asian
I hear
female,
you on the
cool.
Ashtray. The only issue is that it is, the reason why it becomes an issue all the time is because, I mean, it's clear cut, right? We have an overabundance of white protagonists, be they male or female. So it just becomes a thing where people are like, now we need to get some diversity. So I know some people who are against it for that reason, and they go to just tell a good story. And I am first and foremost for that. But I agree with that. But I think diversity does matter. But I'm not mad at who they had for the lead. I thought they did a great job with the first one. I love the first one personally. But yeah, I mean, I was just throwing it out there so you all would know about it, but it's not the biggest focal point. The biggest focal point for me is that it'll be coming in 2023. And I believe, what do they call it? What's the name of it? The title that you all remember?
Survivor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
Survivor. I'm guessing it'll be us maybe escaping, obviously, the Sith chasing after us. What are they called? The Inquisitors.
Inquisitors,
yeah. So I'm
I
interested.
think that's really cool. I think it's going to be a darker narrative, and I'm really, really looking forward to it. I don't mind the delay. I probably don't mind the delay because I wasn't actually sure it was going to come out this year anyway. So look, like we said, no delay is a bad delay. I think it's just going to be better for the game. I think Respawn can't do it wrong. I mean, what a pickup by EA for a measly $375 million. They have paid them back tenfold.
True.
Jedi Fallen Order was a disgrace that it didn't win Game of the Year. That game was amazing. I love loved every single second I played that game. It was a Star Wars game I have been craving for the longest time. I absolutely loved absolutely every single second of it. The combat was flawless, and the story was phenomenal. Cannot wait for the second one. If they need extra time to polish it up, to get it right, like I said, Respawn can do no wrong, and yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to it.
Even the level
Can I
design, of that
terms-
game was amazing. They nailed every single aspect of that game. So a bit surprised about Astray Doom.
In terms
Did
of
you-
whether it's a male, female, what race, I could not care less. I mean, the physical attributes of fighting that a male has an advantage over a female completely just don't count in the Jedi world, because you use your force powers to basically overcome all that kind of stuff. You can do flips, all that kind of stuff, all that stuff that comes with the Jedi. So, it makes sense in the story whether they be male, female, regardless. And what race, I couldn't care less. Just tell a good story, guys. Honestly, that's all we want.
Did you guys see my tattoo?
Yes, did see.
On I got it on May the 4th. I got my
Oh, I didn't see it.
lightsabers. You can. I have to put a photo somewhere.
Very cool, mate.
But,
Very cool.
yes,
Very cool.
and also with you.
Oh, what a great panel member. So glad to have you, Doomy, mate. You're really an attribute to this show.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, look, moving on, we'll head to the next and the final topic. Some good news for Xbox, and definitely related to the topic that we are talking about. It's been confirmed that Xbox is handling more Disney IPs, and also rumored and confirmed, I believe, it's confirmed that Mandalorian is in the works, and it's also rumored to be at the showcase, which is pretty goddamn exciting. I'm super excited about that. I'm a massive Star Wars fan. I know Pete doesn't like Star Wars, so we'll skip over him.
Yes, skip him.
We'll skip over him.
His name is even an antithesis of it. Look at him. Just
Disgusting.
like Star Wars. Yes, disgusting.
And we'll go to Umbra. Umbra, you pretty excited? I mean, how could you not be excited? Xbox getting a hold of some absolutely amazing IPs and getting the opportunity to put some more into the wild.
That's a major one too. I mean, The Mandalorian has been, I think, a savior for Star Wars after what they did with that new trilogy. It's just an excellent, new start to everything. And yes, this is the way. So absolutely, imagine seeing something like that. And I was concerned though when they were talking about it might be an MMO. I've never played MMOs, and I don't think I would want to put the time in required to really get into that like that. So I'm hoping that's not the case, and it's just a straightforward, 40-hour or whatever type of, I guess, action RPG or action game or whatever have you. So we'll see how they approach it. But I guess an MMO for Star Wars would be the smart play, thinking of like KOTOR and such. So I know we'll see how it goes, but that's major right there if it's true.
Yeah, look, I don't know if you played Coda, Umbra, but that game was amazing. But I get you, the MMO can be a bit of a grind, and I think the reason why I enjoyed Coda so much is because I played it when I had the 10 times XP boost on, so that means I could basically just play the storylines and not worry about so much about the grind. But that game is phenomenal. I know that there was a big push to get that game to come to consoles, but they were unable to do it. So I do think that a Star Wars MMO is in the making. I think it's being done by the Bethesda Online team that are behind the Elder Scrolls Online, which has been incredibly lucrative for Bethesda. It's basically a money-making machine that just keeps printing money. And for them to go into a new universe, and Star Wars universe, my favorite universe in all
I can
of
hear you
entertainment.
smiling. I can hear you smiling. That's wholesome. I love that.
It's amazing to
cannot
hear
wait.
him smiling when we know that he's a Star Wars hater. What's all this happiness about? You're so happy over there. What's going on over here?
He's plotting something.
Yeah.
Something's up for sure.
You know what? Probably a game that you guys you probably wouldn't be excited about as much as you. I love Mando. I have Grogu tattooed on me, so I love that. But I think you guys are sleeping on Disney Dreamlight Valley. Now, no, but what that because of the whole Disney acquisitions, people who are Xbox Game Pass members will be able to play an early access version. So I don't know, that's exciting for me as well. But also Mandalorian. But I think we might see little bits about that if they do refer to their Disney titles, especially in the showcase. So
Absolutely. I mean, and we have talks not only of the Star Wars like Mandalorian, but I know that supposedly there's talks of something else. I think a few Marvel projects.
Yeah.
Yep. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's what
and
I'm
there's
most
meant to be a
interested in.
crossover between Sea of, because of how popular Pirates of the Caribbean was in Sea of Thieves crossover. I think they're planning a crossover with Peter Pan and Captain Hook in Sea of Thieves.
Wow.
I think that would be really good as well.
That would be good. Yeah, that would be good.
So-
I could see that.
so much to look forward to. So exciting.
Peter Pan, Captain Hook would be awesome. Hook was one of my favorite kids movies. Love it.
Loved Hook.
Fantastic film.
Classic.
Yeah, lovely.
So good. Love to sit down and watch that one with the kids. Yeah, look, I'm super excited. I'm a massive Star Wars fan. There's just so much there that they could pull out. But it's one thing that I think we are sleeping on is Indiana Jones. I think a lot of people are sleeping on this, and I do think we're going to see this at the showcase. What I hope for it is that Machine Games don't make a first-person iteration of it. I really want to see a third-person indie. I want to see an Uncharted competitor. Uncharted is Indiana Jones. That you cannot deny that game is based on indie. So I would love to see the actual IP that started the whole thing just absolutely cream it at the show. And if they released it this year, oh my god, I would be super, super excited.
Would you
think you're gonna be
forgive
disappointed.
Phil?
Sorry, what? Would I forgive Phil?
Would you?
I've
Yeah,
already.
if they released Indiana Jones.
I've already forgiven Phil. As soon as he spoke,
Oh,
Phil is my hero. Phyllis Aurelius Maximus Spencerus. Ashtray, you don't think it's going to be at the show? Don't break my heart. Don't shit on my dreams.
Man. No. From the trailer we saw last year, I don't think we're going to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And we're definitely not going to see Indiana Jones until at least next year, back end of next year, in my opinion. I'm hoping
I
wrong.
kind of feel the same.
Mm.
I kind of feel the same. It seems a little early, right?
Yeah, I really think they've got a lot of work to do. I 100% agree. It has to be third person. And you use Uncharted as an example, but the first ripoff, particular words I use, but the first ripoff was Tomb Raider. That sort of started it all off as well. So it was before Uncharted came out.
That's true.
But, to see Xbox getting Disney IPs and potentially some Marvel games as well is really, really good. And I sort of said, I remember sitting there talking to the Blue One, and I said, Sea of Thieves have the Pirates of the Caribbean storyline that they've added in. We're going to start seeing more Disney stuff from here on, because obviously you have to have a relationship with Disney to get this kind of stuff happening, and that obviously worked in the background on the Pirates of the Caribbean storylines. Add into Sea of Thieves, and no doubt they're just going to build upon that relationship. So hearing about more Disney games and things, IP coming to Xbox, isn't sort of surprising to me, but I can't wait until we start to see some games come out of it.
Yeah,
Really
I think the whole industry has been a bit devoid of really good Star Wars games, and it would be, I don't care where they come from, even KOTOR on PlayStation would be pretty good. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think we're all looking forward to it. But look, that kind of brings out.
Hold on.
Whoa.
No, right, Risky. I just want to say, you said that we've been devoid of not good Star Wars content and gaming. Have you played Lego Star Wars?
Yeah, it's not a real Star Wars game. So
Does it have the sound of the lightsabers? Yes.
Yes.
There you go. It's a Star Wars game.
Look, I did watch Doom play it on her stream. She does stream on Twitch, and it is fun to watch. And yeah, look, you're right. That game, a lot of people are calling that game for Game of the Year. So I have slept on that. I probably should get to playing it at the moment, but I'm a little bit strapped. So I'll wait for that one to go to like a cheap disc, and then I'll jump on it. I mean, apparently it's massive as well. It's a huge commitment to play that game. It's the entire bloody.
If you want to get 100%.
Yeah, those Lego games are pretty in depth, though.
Yeah.
No, but it's a game that you can pick up and put down whenever. It's not, it's just nice and chill, and you can play it with kids, you can play it with your friends. It's just fun.
That's a good point. I might get it for the kids, actually. That's a very, very good point. Right, this kind of brings us to the end of it. It doesn't kind of bring us. It does bring us to the end of our show. We've had an absolutely amazing show. You guys in the chat have been absolutely awesome. Those of you that are still with us and those of you that have left, you guys have been great. Anyone who's listening after the fact, got to get in here live and check it out. This chat pumps. So these guys are absolutely epic. Love all you guys. Thank you very, very much. I'm not going to go through and name you all because you'd be here for another hour. Ashtray, thank you for coming on the show. We really appreciate your takes, man. It's great to finally have you on. As I said, we have been talking about it for quite some time in the background, getting you on. So thank you very much for gracing us with your presence. Just let the people know where they can find you, what you're up to, and all about your podcast.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. I had fun speaking with everyone here. Where you can find me, well, I do every Saturday morning Gamers Initiative podcast. It is early. However, it's 7 a.m. Australian Eastern Time. It's about 10 a.m. for Red Panda, who's in New Zealand, and it's about 10 p.m. UK time. So because of the varying time zones, this kind of suits us, the three of us. So it is a little bit hard for us to get people in live, and it also is a little bit difficult to get guests on at that time. But you know, we're happy to sort of move days and things like that around to suit guests. If you're interested, we'll have to reach out to a few more people and see if we can get some of you guys on as well. Other than that, you can find me at Ashtray Gaming on Twitter, Xbox, and PlayStation, and I'm always up for a bit of back and forth here and there.
Awesome,
Thanks for having me
fantastic.
on.
I have linked the Gamers Initiative podcast channel, which is Elite Gaming Guru, in the chat. So head there, guys. Hit that like button. Well, hit the subscribe button. God, it's getting automatic, isn't it? Hit that subscribe button. It is a great podcast. I always try to catch it if I can. But obviously, I'm normally setting up for the show as well. So I get in there. Look, to be honest, if Panda wasn't there, I'd probably watch more often. Anyway, moving on. So Doom Cutie, fantastic that you have joined the panel. You're amazing. We had a great show, and I can't wait for next week. Let the people know where they can find you, what you're up to, and what you'll be playing.
Sorry, I just had like a massive brain fart then. Thank you. I've had a fantastic time. You guys are awesome, and it's so lovely to be part of the panel. You guys are awesome, and yeah, the chat's been awesome. Everyone's been great today. Where you can find me, well, my Twitter's linked up the top of the screen, so you can follow me there. I post quite a bit of content on there, more than I ever have actually, and I also, Great Risk It Said, I do stream sometimes, but yeah, it's just been a little bit hectic lately, so my stream schedule's a little bit off, and I'm in the process of recreating one. And apparently I'm playing Battlefield 1 today, so so yeah.
That's set up for community game night, guys. If anyone wants to jump in, Battlefield 1.
Yeah. So I don't think I've ever played that. So that'll be fun. But yeah,
I have never played it in PvP either, mate. So yeah. I'm a virgin.
You all know what we need to do, community game night wise.
Oh, you guys need to get
Among Us.
Oh,
we tried it. We tried it, mate. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
We tried it, mate. We tried it a couple of times, and it's just an absolute.
What about those what's it called? Those Jackbox games. Those are always good.
Oh yeah, those are good too. Gang Beasts. What else? The other one, Party Animals, when it comes out.
Yeah, they are great, but I got to tell all of you, if you guys are coming to the community game night, you're going to get wrecked. I'm going to destroy all of you. Battlefield is my game, and Battlefield 1, I was ranked 3rd in Australia for quite some time. So you guys are you're in for it. Umbra, fantastic that you turn up every week, give your amazing takes, and we appreciate you. Your spaces are amazing. Please let the people know where they can find you, what you're up to, what you'll be playing this week.
Oh, yeah. Thank you all for tuning into the Umbra Hour. No, just seriously, I've been playing, like I said, Trick to Yomi. I'm trying to see if anybody's going to be playing some Halo tonight. Maybe I'll get some Halo in and enjoy that.
The problem with Halo is all the challenges are now last one standing, where you really can't jump in together, so it's a little bit infuriating, mate, to be honest.
Yeah, that's annoying. But maybe we can just get some customs and go on or something like that. Get an hour or two in or something.
Mm-hmm.
But if you all are up for it, let me know. You're going to be playing some Trek to Yomi. I'm going to see what else I can get myself into. And you all know that you can find me on Xbox under Superhavoc. Actually, you can find me now on PlayStation since I got the PS5, Super_Havoc as well. And of course on Twitter under Umbra Infinite or Infinite Umbra. You'll find me one way or another. And appreciate all of you guys for coming through and supporting us in the chat. And again, want to welcome Doom Cutie to the panel. It's really great to have you.
Fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
Those octaves just dropped, don't they? JediKnightPete.
They did.
I was regular.
As always, it's absolutely amazing to have you on. You guys always come in and help with topics earlier in the weeks. All of you do that. It's absolutely amazing. And all the work that you guys all put in and Jedi that you put in is really appreciated. Let us know where we can find you, what you're up to, what you'll be playing this week.
Trek to Yomi, I'll be also playing Battlefield 1 in community game night, and as usual, I'll be playing a little bit of Halo. Cannot wait for Sniper Elite 5 to drop as well. Looking forward to playing with Grey Monad. Everyone in the chat, you guys are amazing. I pretty much spend the first 15 minutes of the show saying g'day to everybody. There's just too many to say hello to now. You guys rock. To Astray, sorry mate, I gave you the wrong time for the podcast. I told you it was 11 a.m, but you showed up. Your talks were amazing. Gamers Initiative podcast is fantastic. I recommend everybody go out and check that out. Sub to his channel as soon as you get off, guys. Welcome, Jim Cutie, to the show. You just bring that passion and gaming for gaming, and we love it. To Umbra and Risk It. I mean, yeah, how good is it? We got a new panel member. It's amazing. Look, I just want to say, because I haven't said it, to Jack, we miss you, mate. Good luck with everything you're going to do in the future. I know work commitments took a little bit of a hold on you, but whatever you do in the future, we wish you all the success, brother.
Absolutely. A bit of a shame.
I forgot to say one thing, by the way. Ashtray, thanks for joining us, brother. It was a pleasure to actually get the chance to talk with you.
No, well, thank you guys. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Really
Awesome.
do. Thanks a lot.
Awesome. And yeah, Jack, I'll say to you, man, as well, like it's a bit of a sad chapter, but obviously, as I said, it's a bit of a bittersweet, Old panel member steps out, unfortunately, due to work commitments, and a new one steps in. And we will continue next week at the same time, 8 p.m. EST US and 10 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Thank you all for coming. Chat's been amazing. The panel's amazing. The guests are amazing. And we will see you all next week. Yee-hoo.
Peace.
Later, guys.
Bye.
See ya.
And I believe that we are